Series race coverage for today's SciAps 200 at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So, I've kept you updated in the chat. Slight delay, of course, with the start of this race, but rain tires are on, and we are getting set to go racing on an oval with the rain tires here for the beginning of this race. Now, the track is not very wet, so the chance that we can move the slicks very early in this race are in exactly how these teams are going to handle these conditions for the start, but the field is working their way around the magic mile right now under pace laps, of course, as we look to get this race started here today. Our scheduled distance is 200 laps, 45 laps in Stage 1 and Stage 2, and the final stage is going to be 110 laps, so that will make up the distances for Stage 1, 2, and 3 for today's race. We're going to be on the front row for this one. Custer, the points leader, still looking for his first win of the Xfinity Series this season. And for Sam Mayer and Riley Herbst, will line up in row number 2 for the start of this race. In row 3 will be Sheldon Creed and Sammy Smith. The top 5 a season ago for Sheldon Creed here as well for Sammy Smith. Corey Heim and Parker Kligerman will line up in row 4. Row 5 for Ryan Sieg and Matt DiBenedetto. DiBenedetto's best start of the season. Anthony Alfredo and Justin Allgaier will line up in row 6. Row 7 for Austin Hill and Leland Honeyman. Jesse Love and Ryan Ellis in row 8. Row 9 for Josh Williams, Jeremy Clements. Row 10 in the top half of the field is Kyle Sieg and Jeb Burton. Row number 11 will be Brendan Poole and A.J. Allmendinger. One of the Cup regulars, Christopher Bell, and the odds-on favorite to win the race will be on the inside of row 12 with Parker Retzlaff, who has to start to the rear of the field today after failing pre-qualifying inspection despite qualifying getting rained out. He also has to have a stop-and-go penalty while he is on pit road and make that pass-through at the start of the race. Justin Bonsignor, the modified winner here, is going to be on the inside of row number 13 with Nathan Berg making his Xfinity Series debut to his outside. Patrick Emmerle and Shane Van Gisbergen in row 14. Row 15 will be Brandon Jones and Haley Deegan. Mason Massey and Kyle Weatherman in row 16. Row 17 is going to be Blaine Perkins and Garrett Smithley. Row 18 for Glenn Reen and Armani Williams. Rounding out the field today will be Alex Bowman and Carson Kvapil in row number 19. That is going to be the 38-car field for today's Xfinity Series race. 2 Cup regulars, again, Christopher Bell and Alex Bowman this weekend. Bell, a 3-time Xfinity Series winner at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Won here 3 years in a row. He has not participated in the last 2 races in the Xfinity Series, but he's the favorite to win this one, and he's got to be one of the favorites for tomorrow's race as well. Be interested to see how this is going to go about. Very good chance Bell gets the sweep this weekend. I do have Christopher Bell winning today's race as my personal pick, and honestly, there's a very good chance I'm going to take him tomorrow to try to go for the sweep at New Hampshire. We'll have to see how this race obviously is going to go about. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Apologize, obviously, for all the differentiating start times compared to what was originally on the streaming schedule for this weekend. Again, rain in the area pretty much all weekend has adjusted the start times for all 3 of our live commentary streams this weekend. Cup practice qualifying didn't get underway till 2 p.m. Eastern. Originally, it was supposed to start at then we ended it abruptly, obviously, so only about a 20-minute stream there. And now this Xfinity stream, obviously, slightly later start. Well, slightly earlier because it was moved up to 3 p.m. Eastern from 3:30, its original start time, and then a slight rain delay here off the start has now further moved it back closer to 3:30, which was the original start time anyway, but we are going to get things started here at least a couple minutes earlier than originally expected coming into the day. And as far as tomorrow's Cup Series race goes, they have moved the start time up for that race as well. Our live commentary stream that was originally supposed to start at 2 p.m. Eastern will now start at 1:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow afternoon, with the race getting moved up about a half hour. Again, that is tomorrow. But as far as this Xfinity race here today, we're about to go green. Field is on the back straightaway. The lights are out in the pace car. And again, the rain/wet weather tires are on. No precipitation in the air right now at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So as the track dries, the teams will throw slicks on if deemed necessary when that time happens. And I think we were originally scheduled to have a competition caution at lap 25 anyway, with the rain out of both practice and qualifying this weekend. So first laps on the track this weekend for the Xfinity Series is going to be on wet weather tires and at full speed. Green flag is in the air as Cole Custer will lead us underway in the NASCAR Xfinity Series at New Hampshire. Couple drivers crashing out the start as one car gets stalled out trying to get the green flag. That was Matt DiBenedetto in the 10th place position. I believe everybody was able to avoid him from behind. Slow start for Matty D on the front stretch as the field creeps their way through turns 1 and 2. Cole Custer comes out the other end with the race lead and continues to lead the field into 3 and 4. Single file for the front 3 positions side by side on back behind them as they try to get organized still. 2 and 3 wide off the exit of turn 4 in the top 10 as well, as Cole Custer leads the opening lap of the race at a creeping pace. Everybody just kind of tiptoeing on these wet weather tires here for the start. Track will go through changes over the next several laps, a green racetrack at that as well, with very, very little rubber laid down from Cup practice about an hour or so ago. Custer already out to a 1-second lead on his teammate Riley Herbst, who was able to get to second on Chandler Smith from the initial start of this race. A little bit more bold was Herbst on the initial start to move into that second place spot behind his teammate. Allgaier going 3 wide to the bottom in turns 1 and 2 on lap 3. He's underneath the 5 of Alfredo and the 26 of Corey Heim. Heim holds on to that position for right now. Door to door in the back straightaway for Heim and Alfredo. Austin Hill escaping by the outside of Justin Allgaier off this initial start. Gets by him for the 10th place spot. Now to the outside of Corey Heim up off the exit of turn 4 as well. Great drive off by the 21. He'll push the 5 down the front stretch before heading into the braking zone in turn 1. Sam Mayer making a pass on the inside of Chandler Smith at the front of the field. That is a pass for third. Showing the replay of Matt DiBenedetto spinning his tires on the start again. He started in the 10th place position outside of row 5. Did not get going. Big accordion effect behind him. I don't think there was any major damage from anybody. And no restart lane violation with that restart or initial start to this race with cars jumping out of line because they were trying to avoid a potential wreck. And again, Parker Retzlaff did have to come to pit road for a stop-and-go penalty for the start of this race. That has left him back out on the racetrack. He is currently on the lead lap, but just in front of the leaders at the front of the field, so in danger of going a lap down in the early going. Again, 45 laps in this first stage. Working our way to lap number 6 this time by at the start-finish line. Austin Hill and Justin Allgaier side by side again. This time it's a battle for 7th. They were battling for 10th moments ago, but they moved past a couple of cars over the last several laps, and they still got 2 more right in front of them side by side, but both of these 2 look quicker than. Those drivers are Parker Kligerman and Sheldon Creed. Hill into the back of the 48 car, getting down into turn 1. Big rear wheel spin by the 48 as he tries to hold on in the center of the corner. Hill's going to clear him off the exit of turn 2, and Allgaier to the inside of the 48. Custer has led the opening 5 laps of this race now. His lead is still about 1 second over his teammate Riley Herbst. Third place is 2.1 seconds back of Sam Mayer. Sammy Smith in 4th, 3.8 seconds off the lead. Austin Hill now to 5th, 4.6 seconds off the leader as he gets by Sheldon Creed on the outside into turn 1. He'll start to separate himself between him and the 7. 7 now trying to make a pass for 6 on Creed. Definitely looks like Hill's car is a lot looser, or he's just powering it back to the throttle a lot sooner than everybody else. Back of his car sliding out a ton compared to everyone. And as these wet tires continue to dry out, could be potential chunking going on there. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously going hard, knowing that NASCAR will make the call for the teams to go to slick, so maybe he can get away with this right now. Hill started 12th, already up 7 positions. Allgaier, who started right around him. A little contact on his pass through Sheldon Creed. Aggressive and trying to make the clearance off of turn 2. Sideswiped him on his way by. No major issue. Hill now to 4th as he gets by Sammy Smith for position. Austin Hill. Moving on up on this initial start. So again, Chandler Smith, who started on the inside of row 2 in 3rd place, is all the way back to 21st now as he loses even more spots. So very creeping pace for Chandler Smith, already 18 positions backwards since the start of the race. And Christopher Bell, who started 23rd, is up to 12th already in the early laps. Sheldon Creed about to be passed by another car as well. Jeremy Clements, one of the biggest movers of the race in the early going, is going to make his way by Sheldon Creed. And that pass was for 8th. Caution is now out on the speedway, lap number 10.
Tires now, there's just really nowhere to kind of get offline to find. Well, there are 10 laps completed. To Jeff's point, this tire was designed for. We would be sitting on pit road waiting to start this race, but here we are. We've completed 10 laps.
Competition caution.
Comp yellow.
NASCAR has thrown. So now I'm sure they're going to make the decision. Do we now go to slicks?
I think that's what the yellow is for. I think there's no doubt, without anything else coming on the radar, the move is going to be go to slicks. They may have to bring the jet dryers out, blow the track off. The other decision that NASCAR has, I want to cover this real quick. They have the option, if pit road is too wet, to go to non-competitive pit stops for the safety of the crew, meaning the drivers can't lose position. If they feel like pit road is dry enough, it's a competitive pit stop. If you have an issue, if you go slow, you're going to lose spots. I'm hoping that's what they do here, but we'll have to see what NASCAR does. I love the idea of competitive pit stops. I like what it does to the race. It's a moment to kind of change the running order.
Some big winners and some big losers in that little bit of a short run. Chandler Smith, he lost a tremendous amount. 21 spots he went down. He went all the way to 23rd, but then Quaffle and Bowman picked up 12, 13 spots. So, as in every race, Steve, wets or dries, there's winners and losers.
And NASCAR has now told us that they are going to be competitive pit stops. So basically, this is a yellow like every other normal yellow with one exception. You must come down pit road and change tires. You have to come off the wet tires and go to slicks. Other than that, the adjustments you make, it's normal pit stops. You can put fuel in the car. So there's it's normal pit stops. You can put fuel in the car. So there's a lot of things that can happen. Remember, there's only 34 to go in this stage. So this is going to be a very short sprint to the end of stage 1.
And Steve, a lot of people at home are probably saying, why does NASCAR tell them what tires to put on? Why don't you just free rein it, let them put whatever that they can? Like, we see that a lot with road racing. But we're new at this. This is a learning experience. Instead of putting the teams in that situation, NASCAR is saying, we're going to make the call for you on these ovals. I happen to think that's the right thing to do as we're learning this process. In the future, as we get smarter, then they can open it up and put it in the crew chief and the driver's hands. But for now, it's just smarter for them to make the decision, Kim.
Well, it had high expectations for that 81 team. Started in the second position, has dropped like an anchor to the 23rd position. Didn't have a great start, but the car also not to Chandler's liking. Take a listen.
Like, horrible. It was on the splitter a little bit, getting into 3 the whole run as well, over the bump, past them as well.
So Chandler also, in addition to that, having trouble managing those wet weather tires, told the team, I have 0 turn on entry. They'll look for some major changes when they do come down.
The problem, Rick, is what do you change? And I say that tongue-in-cheek because, okay, on the splitter, we already talked about the difference in tire size. So is that, did they adjust too much? Not enough? Why are they on the splitter? So I know it's not good to go back that far. No one else seems to be struggling to that degree. So I understand there should be a little panic. But do you want to dial yourself out? You came here with what you thought was the best setup. You didn't get any practice to prove it right or wrong. Now you have 10 laps on rain tires on a damp racetrack. As a crew chief, I don't know if I probably would be any more confused than now. Like, am I panicking? Am I making changes? Or am I just putting slicks on and just re-baseline?
As a driver, I just want him to fix it.
I'm going to tell him I'm going to fix it. Do anything or not. No, don't worry, buddy. I'm going to fix you up. Here they come, Kim.
Yeah, including Cole Custer and Riley Herbst. Riley's saying it's just too edgy. I need to be freed up. You see the slicks going on for Cole Custer. He told his team he fired off tight, but crew chief Jonathan Tony said he thinks with the slicks and the track conditions changing, the track is going to get tighter. They're going to free him up just a little bit with that chassis adjustment, Marty.
Kim, the most common phrase from every driver, that was fun, but we can feel the tires going away very quickly. Sam Mayer echoed that as they get the wet weather tires off. You can see that chassis adjustment for the slick tires that are going to go on. The race off of pit road happening behind him as Mayer gets these 4 fresh new tires on. Austin Hill leads the #1 pit stall. We'll gain a couple of spots here on pit road, Rick.
That's typical. Every week.
4 tire stops for every. Sure. We got that top slot, Jill.
Biggest gainer in the top 10 there on pit road was Christopher Bell, up to 4th place as he took a gain of 7 positions. 7 spots gained for Bell from the time of the yellow to where he left off pit road. And from 23rd to 4th already between pit road and that green flag run of 10 laps to start the race before the competition caution to make the switch from wet weather tires to dry slick tires. So the radar is not showing any more rain the rest of the day, at least for the daylight hours that this Xfinity Series race will be taking place. So, since for this one here this afternoon, tomorrow's Cup race still a question. Again, our live stream will begin at 1:30 Eastern Time there. That start time has been moved up a half hour because NASCAR had moved the start time of the Cup race up a half hour. So we'll go live still about a half hour before the start. Whether it actually goes on at 2 p.m. or not, yet to be determined. I'll keep you posted in the community tab as we get, of course, closer to that 1:30 start time for ourselves. If it is raining, obviously, at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, we'll have a later start time than 1:30, and I'll adjust accordingly, of course, as we are waiting out the wet weather, which has become a common trend over the last several weeks in the NASCAR circuits. We've had rain impacting the Truck Xfinity and/or Cup Series race weekends now 5 of the last 6 weeks, after going most of the season without any issues other than Daytona at the start of the year. Really, outside of Daytona at the very start of the season, we didn't have any issues with rain in all 3 series up until we got to the Kansas race weekend for the Cup Series, as the start time of that race was delayed about 3-4 hours or so before they got it in. Of course, eventually led to the closest finish in NASCAR history, Kyle Larson beating Chris Buescher. But yeah, up until then, outside of the Daytona 500, we went probably 10, 11 weeks in a row without any rain across all 3 series. And again, 5 of the last 6 weeks now, we've had impacted weather. Practice qualifying rained out for the Xfinity Series yesterday. Practice limited to just about 3 to 7 laps for most of the teams a little over an hour and a half ago. And qualifying completely washed out for the Cup Series, so they'll be starting on the metric system just like the Xfinity Series did for today.
Rain tires that came off of a dry racetrack seat. This is the left rear. This is the right rear. Nothing unusual. I think these Goodyear tires held up very well under those conditions on a mostly dry track.
So basically what you're seeing right here is I'm going to draw on it. This right here, that's a blister. So what that basically is the temperature became too high, where think about like if you burned your skin would blister and then pop. That's what happens to the rubber. It gets so hot, the heat increases and it just blisters up and pops. It creates that kind of circle. It doesn't look so bad because there's treads. If it was a slick, it might get our attention. But I agree with Marty. For what we didn't know, those don't really concern me a whole lot. I mean, I think they look pretty normal.
Yeah, it looks pretty good, really, for as dry as a track was. And guess what? We talked about Christopher Bell starting mid-pack. He's up to 4th.
Yeah, he started 23rd and already up to 4th. They gained 7 spots on pit road. That is not good for the rest of the field. He has won in his 3 previous Xfinity Series starts at this racetrack. He's looking to make it 4 in a row. We'll see if he's able to do
Not to mention, he does have a Cup Series career win here and a Truck Series win in his only truck start at New Hampshire. Green flag back in the air. Custer on the outside of row 1 on the initial start and for this restart now. Austin Hill underneath him on the front row. And into the first turn they both go. Hill trying to make use of the apron on the entrance into the corner. Slides up. Diamond cuts it off the exit. And Austin Hill is clear and in the lead down the back straightaway. First time Hill has led today. First time anybody but Cole Custer, the pole sitter, has led today. As Hill will lead this lap at the start-finish line. Up off the exit of the corner. Still remains right in front of the 0-0. Sammy Smith slipping up a groove in the center of 3 and 4. Christopher Bell going to get underneath them now on corner exit. Drag racing down the front into turns 1 and 2. Yeah, Christopher Bell already up over 20 positions from the start of the race. Some of the other big movers as well. Carson Kvapil had gotten to 20th before the caution flag had come out after starting dead last in 38th. Slow pit stop, and now he's back to 28th again. But look for Kvapil to try to make some moves. Finished second in his first career start in the Xfinity Series at Dover on a 1-mile racetrack earlier this season. Second was also a top 5 run, which took place at Martinsville just a few weeks before that. Custer battling back on Hill at the front of the field, though, and Sammy Smith was able to hold on to 3rd for the time being on Christopher Bell. Bell remains in 4th. Custer trying to take back the lead to the inside of Hill in the center of 3 and 4, slides up and clear. Hill trying to get a better drive off by Diamond cutting the corner again behind Custer, but can't get it done. So Custer back in the lead. Multiple lead changes off this restart. So Cole Custer back out in front. Austin Hill in the 21 car led for 2 laps on the restart before Custer has retaken the race lead. 17 plus laps led for Custer now. Again, Hill started 12th, so he's still up 11 positions from his original starting position. And Chandler Smith, who fell all the way outside the top 20 before the caution flag came out on lap 10 after starting third nonetheless, is in 20th place still, struggling in traffic now on the dry tires. And this race started on the wet weather treaded tires, now back to the slicks during dry conditions, and we should stay here for the remainder of the race. 7/10 of a second gap built up between Custer and Hill at the front of the field. Third place is Sammy Smith, 1.1 seconds off the lead. Christopher Bell still in fourth, a second and a half back, and Corey Heim is in fifth, 2 seconds off the lead. Sheldon Creed is 2.3 seconds back in sixth. Riley Herbst 7, 2.6 seconds back. 2.8 seconds off the lead is Parker Kligerman in eighth. Sam Mayer's fallen to ninth, 3 seconds off the lead, and Justin Allgaier 3.2 seconds back in 10th. That is the top 10 in the intervals between themselves and the race leader. Lap 22 this time by.
The white line. You can, but if you see Parker right here, he's up the racetrack, right? He gets in the corner, tries to get in there low, and just seems like he's in the middle of the corner. Kind of has everybody stacked up behind him. Just spotter just told him that was better, and it definitely looked better.
He peeked underneath the 48s. This time, doesn't look like he's going to be able to get the nose underneath him. There's Kligerman down almost all the way to the apron there on exit. Sheldon Creed with Riley Herbst moving to the inside.
We talked a lot about the back row of the race, which was the 17 of Alex Bowman, the 88 of Carson Waffle. 17 doing a really nice job. No surprise, right? He runs on Sunday for a reason, all the way up to 13th. And as you can see, there's a bunch of traffic in front of him. So I think there's more positions available. Well, you talk about traffic. 8 is underneath the 18. I mean, Riley Herbst at the front of that group is a 6th place car. So Alex Bowman has a lot of positions in front of him. I mentioned Carson Wobble. He's doing a nice job as well in the 88. He's up to 20th. So for a guy only making his 4th Xfinity Series start, Herbst running well. This Hornet's Nest has a lot of potential for issues.
Cole Custer won here in the Truck Series back in 2014, becoming the youngest truck winner ever at 16 years and 7 months. And right now, Cole Custer out in front of this Xfinity Series field.
So Cole Custer leads the way. Austin Hill 1.9 seconds back in second. Christopher Bell third. Sammy Smith fourth. Corey Heim fifth. Riley Herbst in sixth. Sheldon Creed seventh. Sam Mayer eighth. AJ Allmendinger ninth. And Justin Allgaier 10th for Alex Bowman. Jeremy Clements 14th. Chandler Smith 15th. Jesse Love is 16th. Justin Bonsignor is in 17th. 18th for Jeb Burton. Carson Quapple 19th. And Brennan Poole 20th. 21st for Anthony Alfredo. Brandon Jones 22nd. Josh Williams 23rd. Kyle Weatherman 24th. Shane Van Gisbergen is 25th. Matt DiBenedetto down 16 spots to 26 from the start. Kyle Sieg 27th. Haley Deegan up a couple to 28th. Parker Retzlaff 29th. Glenn Reen in 30th. Blaine Perkins 31st. Mason Massey 32nd. Ryan Ellis 33rd. Leland Honeyman 34th. Had a penalty for over the wall too soon during the set of pit stops that we had, so he dropped from the top 15 back to 34th. Garrett Smithley's 35th. Nathan Bird 36th. Patrick Emmerly is 2 laps down at 37th, and Romani Williams is also 2 laps down. He is in 38th. Caution is out on the speedway during the full screen commercial break on the USA Network. So during the caution here, looks like lap 27, time of the yellow. To wait and see exactly what the reasoning for the caution is. It's our second caution of the race. We'll take a quick ad break, and when they come back from the break, we'll find out what the yellow is for. You're listening live on KRC to the NASCAR Xfinity Series SciAps 200 at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Custer's still in the lead at the time of the yellow. The 07 car, the reason for the caution, slow on the racetrack. And it's Patrick Emerly, who was one of the two cars a lap down off the initial start. So he has stalled out, needs to get a push back too.
You can download the official app of NASCAR and follow the action with free live scoring, in-car cameras, as well as radio broadcast upgrades of premium or full access to driver audio channels and a completely ads-free experience. Search NASCAR in your app store to download and start your free trial today. Marty, how about Sam Mayer after last week's win? How's he feeling here?
Yeah, what a win for that race team. Sam Mayer in the 8th position right now. Took the time under the caution here to tell Marty Lindley he was a little skatey free on entry, too tight on exit. And he told me earlier this week, he said, honestly, this is one of my weakest racetracks here at New Hampshire. I have something to prove. Even though we just won at Iowa last week, I have something to prove at this racetrack specifically. So far, so good for Sam Mayer. He's kept it in the top 10 the entire day, Kim.
And Marty, Sam, the most recent winner on the opposite end of the spectrum, the 16 team of AJ Allmendinger, feels like they have struggled on the setup side of things all season long. Alex Youngster, the crew chief, told me that they have swung for the fences. It feels like every race weekend they just have not hit on what they need. He said, we're not giving up by any means, but we need to turn it around. They feel like maybe this week on pit road, looks like they'll change tires for Justin Allgaier. He was reporting just a little bit tight in the center on that machine. The last pit stop, he kind of stuttered getting out of his pit box, so we'll look to see if this one's clean as Marty, the 19, makes their stop.
Yeah, Justin Bonsignor, as Rick mentioned earlier today, already won the modified series race here at New Hampshire today. He's going to put on 4 fresh Goodyear tires. So, Steve, stopping with 15 to go here in stage 1 with an extra set of tires. What's the play for these Xfinity Series crew chiefs?
I think tires just don't matter enough here to slip to the front of the field and then run the second stage. I love this call for the 7 of Allgaier. I love the aggression. This could be the game changer.
Shane Van also on pit road. Colt Custer leading here in New Hampshire.
All right, so still under a commercial break right now as we head to the next restart. Again, caution for the 07 of Patrick Emerly stalling out in turn 2. It's our first incidental caution of the race. And this is our second total. Again, the Comp Yellow on lap 10 after starting on the wet weather tires, switching to the dry slick tires. And now we are getting ready for a restart. Again, lap 45 will be the official end of stage 1. So we're not too far away from that point. And Cole Custer will be the leader. Several drivers hit pit road to try to split the field here. They'll go to the back now. More than likely stay out during the stage end. And as teams pit, they'll try to leapfrog the field. Justin Allgaier was one of those that pitted. Quick shout out to those of you that are watching here from the chat in the early going. JoJo, Dan Bowers, Mark Witkowski, NASCAR Vintage 17. Frank Powers, Candy Cox, William Walton Jr., Billy Kramer, Michael Turner, Dan Bowers, Regine Huddleston, and Wade Zielinski, many others. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Well, Saturday afternoon after a slight delay for the start of the race. But we are live. You can vote for who you think will win the race in the chat poll. Per usual, this poll in the chat will close at the end of stage 2. 35 votes have been casted in the early going of the race. 37% of you are in a split between taking Christopher Bell for the win or Other to win. Now Other is up ahead, 39%. That other pick is somebody other than either Alex Bowman, Chandler Smith, or Christopher Bell winning. Bell was my pick to win the race. So we'll see if we're in agreement again. End of stage 2 is when that poll will close. So be sure to cast your vote. And I believe you can change your vote throughout the course of the race, if I'm not mistaken as well.
Place as we're getting ready for the restart. There's still 13 laps to go when they come back around. It'll be 12 to go in stage 1. Car staying out. Custer, Hill, Bell all the way down. The first on pit road was Allgaier, and he's going to be restarting 26th.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to agendas, right? The reason I like to call for the 70s, he was right on the edge of getting those stage points. But, you know, Custer, Hill, you kind of have to stay out since you have track position and try to win this stage, maybe get a playoff point. So it'll be interesting to see It's Corey LaJoy, Cup driver, trying to take a peek, learn what he can.
He's saying, I want to be on camera, so that's
I
why.
want to check his credentials. Yeah. And you got the right to be standing up here?
You know, Corey LaJoy got a couple laps in the Cup car earlier before the rain came and stopped that practice session.
This is the first restart on older tires. It's really important to get that.
Here we go. We'll see who will get the launch. Custer on the outside of row one once again. Green flag back in the air. Hill, who got to the lead on the inside of row one the last restart, back on the inside of row one again. Didn't get nearly as good of a launch through the restart zone. He's going to be door-to-door with Christopher Bell for second in the center of 1 and 2. Sammy Smith going to slide up a lane and lose a spot, and Hill going to lose maybe potential 2 positions to the Toyotas above him. Bell definitely got through to second. Now Corey Himes trying to go for third. A little contact further back, 3 wide, getting into turn 3. Fight for the bottom of the racetrack is where the contact had taken place, right around the 7th, 8th place positions. And that was back around A.J. Allmendinger and Sam Mayer. Parker Kligerman right around that pack of cars as well. And maybe more contact between the 16 and the 48. Center of the corner, the 48's going to go around. Caution's out again. Kligerman goes for a spin off the front bumper, the right front specifically on Allmendinger. They made contact the corner before, and that time Kligerman goes around. He did not get into the wall. Was able to keep it going. But the caution is out with 11 to go in stage 1, or third yellow.
We had these very aggressive restarts, and older tires, with all the rubber built up and all the stuff that's going on, they just do not drive as good. Let's watch what happens. Contact there for 98, got it to back at 16, and around the 48 goes.
Alex Bowman in the 17, nearly clearing this.
Yeah, he did. Herbst got into the 16, and then the 16 into the 48.
He sees that, he'll recognize that's not the guy to be mad at. It's right here. Watch, he gets contacted. Watch the rear tires. Wide open in the gas. Spinning the rear tires forward to try to keep from being in the wall.
Pit road opening in. We'll see if the leaders realize they're kind of backwards on the strategy. They are. So it looks like the leaders are going to pit right here, which is interesting. I thought they should have done it on the last stop if they were going to do it, but Cole Custer likes this idea. He'll come to pit road, Kim.
That's right, Cole Custer, points leader, looking for not much out of that car. He said the balance is good. The car is tighter than it was earlier in the run, but he doesn't want any major changes, Marty.
Yeah, Kim, a chance for these cars to flip onto the other strategy. Christopher Bell complaining about how loose it is on entry and then way too tight on exit. Meanwhile, for Corey Heim, again, another fantastic run, as Rick has mentioned. He too a little bit too free on entry. And Steve, should this even up the strategy for all the teams thus far?
Well, it kind of equals out the strategy, but you know, listen, the first guy to a good decision is going to be the big winner, and I understand the 0-0 and those guys trying to jump on, but now they're going to not really have great track position and probably not score stage points either. They're kind of in the middle, standing on the fence.
3 cautions early in this one, and this one comes out as Parker Kligerman gets tagged by the 16 of Allmendinger.
All right, caution is out on the speedway. Again, Kligerman goes for a spin, a chain reaction of events of Herbst getting into Allmendinger. Allmendinger then into the 48, sends the 48 around. Sammy Smith is going to be the new leader. He was in the 5th place position when the caution came out, but he's first of everybody that stayed out of the pits in both this caution and the caution we had before that for Patrick Emerly stalling out on the track. Emerly is currently 6 laps down, and I'm not sure that he had gone to the garage or not. So when we go back through the full field running order, or I get any word of whether Emerly has retired from the race, I will let you know. Of course, last car is up for grabs there right now if he's out. I believe he is still in, because it looks like he has gotten the free pass with the caution coming out. Actually, no, Armani Williams got the free pass with that last caution. Nobody got the free pass with the first 2 yellows. Nobody was a lap down at the time, but that third caution, Armani Williams was a lap down. So now Armani Williams is back on the lead lap. We're in the SciAps 200 at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We're going to have less than 10 laps to go in stage 1 on the restart. You're listening live on KRC. Bubba Davis, Jacob Guterol. Thanks for tuning into the stream as well. Not a fan of Loudon, usually boring. Think of 2 cup races with no lead changes. Well, that was a long time ago, I will say. Car Tomorrow races here I thought were pretty good. And honestly, the next gen has put on some pretty good races the last couple years. I'd even argue the late Gen 6 years, we've even had some good races here as well. I think a lot of people sleep on New Hampshire. The weather hasn't been great here the last several years, but we have had some really good races the last several seasons here, which you wouldn't typically on a flatter, shorter track with the next gen think that they would put on as good a races as they have, but they have put on good races the last couple seasons.
It's Chris Rice that small to we heard from Allmendinger. And it sounds like it's not settled yet, at least between the 48 and 16. Kim?
Well, it might be because they came on under caution. Patrick Donahue, the crew chief for Parker Klickerman, told him the 16 has apologized multiple times. He said it was not his fault, that the 98 just came trucking right through the back of him. There's nothing he could do. So we'll see if that settles Parker's nerves, but I'm not sure. He seems pretty fired up.
We mentioned the fact that Justin Bonsignor making his Xfinity Series debut. Another driver out there making their Xfinity Series debut is Armani Williams, the 24-year-old out of Detroit, Michigan, just got the free pass. So
Armani has made some Truck Series starts this season, but this is his first Xfinity Series start. 6 laps to go in stage 1 when they get the green. Again, Sammy Smith will be leading us to the green, and Alex Bowman on the front row on the inside as well. Green flag back in the air. Row 2 on the inside spins their tires. It looked to be the 39 of Ryan Sieg. A lot of 3-wide action in the first turn behind him after the stack up. Didn't look to see major contact getting into the corner at least, and off the exit they're fairly organized as well. Door to door for the lead as Sam Mayer gets to the inside of his teammate Sammy Smith. Mayer going to drive it in very deep on that inside lane, try to wash up in front of him. Still door to door for the lead. And Sammy Smith gonna get out of the gas there in the center of the corner, and Sam Mayer is clear. First time Sam Mayer will lead a lap today as he tries to get this playoff point. Remember, Mayer is locked into the playoffs with a win. Sammy Smith is not, so this playoff point can be huge here for Mayer, who doesn't have a lot of playoff points this season. Although he does have 2 wins to show for, which is tied for the most in the Xfinity Series, and that was after a win a week ago at the Iowa Speedway. Sam Mayer's second win, his first at Texas in what was the closest Xfinity Series race finish of the season. Door-to-door battle, 2 1,000ths of a second separating both Mayer and Sieg at the line in that Texas race. Speaking of Sieg, he's in the center of turns 3 and 4, loses 5 or 6 car lengths plus in the backstretch as he tries to get his momentum back, and he'll also lose a position or 2 into turn 3 also. Bowman, after restarting inside of row 2, has fallen back to 5th. And he's got a couple of teammates behind him, or right around him at that. Justin Allgaier and Carson Kvapil. Kvapil, after starting dead last inside the top 10 here in the early going, battling Bowman. Trying to keep pace with the 7 car. He was doing so until Allgaier got around the outside of Bowman, and now Kvapil trying to get by on the inside and hasn't been able to do so yet. Riley Hurst to the inside of Sammy Smith, who continues to lose positions on the restart. 2 to go, stage 1. Mayer pulling away. Battle for second continues on. Allmendinger closing in on both the 98 and the 8. Again, stage points on the line through the tops to boot. Down to 1 point for 10th. Clear is Mayer. Sammy Smith. Got the wrong Sam. Sammy Smith clear for second. So Herbst got to his inside but couldn't complete the pass. And all 3 of these cars don't seem to be anywhere near as quick as Justin Allgaier, is gaining ground fast behind him. Running out of time to pick up points though. 3 and 4, final time at stage 1 as we are at lap 45. Sammy Smith blocking the inside lane. Riley Herbst trying to get underneath him. Not going to be able to do so. Trying to get the drive off. He'll be door to door for second And Smith holds on for that second place position. Sam Mayer way out in front, wins stage number 1 by a little over a second. Despite that 6-lap dash to the green-white checkered flag at the end of this first stage. Second place for Sammy Smith, Riley Herbst third, AJ Allmendinger fourth, Justin Allgaier fifth in stage 1. Alex Bowman sixth, Carson Kvapil seventh, Ryan Sieg eighth, Jeb Burton ninth, Justin Bonsignor rounds out the top 10, and Bonsignor is in that 19 car this weekend for Joe Gibbs Racing. I believe this is his first career Xfinity start. He's made a couple truck starts this season, but first in the Xfinity Series, and he won the modified race at New Hampshire earlier this morning. That race was supposed to take place yesterday evening after practice of qualifying for the Xfinity Series. Remember, rain all day yesterday at New Hampshire, canceled both practice qualifying for the Xfinity Series, and also moved the modified race that was supposed to be again late yesterday evening to this morning about 10 a.m. local time. But they did get that full race in. We'll get this full race in today, and hopefully the Cup race will get in uninterrupted tomorrow after, again, their very, very abbreviated practice. Every driver only was able to make 3 to 7 laps before more rain came, and qualifying obviously washed out with that as well. Chase Elliott will be on the pole for tomorrow's Cup Series race. Ryan Blaney will be starting second at the beginning. Injured Sense YTYB, thanks for tuning in. Derek Booth, also welcome to the stream. Yeah, Allgaier definitely the man on the move, and Bell, who was up in the second place position before the initial pit stops, is currently 11th. Wait to see if any more drivers end up pitting. There are some that haven't pitted yet today. And if we do get any pit stop reports, you'll get to listen into that. The race is on the USA Network if you're wondering visually where you can watch. Tomorrow's NASCAR Cup race will also be on the USA Network. And if moved to Monday, or if that, I'm sure it'll stay on USA Network this weekend as well. Pit road should be open this time by. Again, Sam Mayer just won stage 1. He's only led a few laps today, which were the closing green flag laps of the first stage. And Cole Custer has led the most, 34 laps led for the pole, from the pole for him. 8 laps led for Mayer. 3 for Sammy Smith. Austin Hill led 2. 4 different leaders. 4 lead changes. Nobody has led more than once. 78.15 mile per hour average race speed in the early going. The stage yellow our 4th caution already in the first 45 laps. But only 2 for incident. The stage and the comp yellow at lap 10. And then the only really incident on the racetrack was that lap 34, a couple laps in the restart, when Parker Kligerman went for a spin.
Sure type that helps back in, Marty.
It took Sam Mayer until April to get his first playoff points on a roll. He's in spinning the right rear off the corner. Makes him really free, leaving the corner. He'll leave pit road, lose a couple of spots of those who did pit, Rick, but again, a lot of cars did decide to stay out.
A couple no tires.
Yeah, no tires for Parker Retzlaff and Justin Allgaier to win their races off of pit row, but several drivers stayed out of the pits after pitting later with a caution in stage 1 at lap 34, compared to those who are pitting now, which either pitted at lap 27 or didn't pit at all. So a few more laps of fuel in their cars here. Only 6 green flag laps on the tires of everybody else. Don't think that's going to make a major difference. And again, Sam Mayer, your stage 1 winner. First stage win of the year for Mayer, gives him 11 playoff points now as he has 2 wins and 1 stage win. 1 playoff point per stage win on the season, 5 playoff points per race win, and that carries over through every round of the playoffs up to the championship 4 as you advance your way through the playoffs. Speaking of which, here's a look at the point standings for the NASCAR Xfinity Series coming into today's race. After today's race is concluded, we'll still have 10 races remaining in the regular season, We've already had 6 different Xfinity winners. That is huge because there are only 12 spots available to make the playoffs in the Xfinity Series. So half of them are already filled up. Could potentially see 12 different winners. Custer looks fast here in this one, has not won yet this year. Riley Herbst has been running top 3 most of the day. Allmendinger was top 5 with the caution. All 3 of those drivers still winless. Sheldon Creed started top 5, also winless this season, so we could see those playoff spots really start to get nabbed up quickly here in the summer months. And maybe starting today. Custer is currently the overall points leader. Despite not winning a race this year, he has just a mere 1-point lead over Chandler Smith. The regular season champion gets 15 playoff points. So that is why that race for the regular season championship is so crucial. Again, 10 races to go after today. Custer has the most top 10s in the series, with drivers locked into the playoffs with a win this year would include 2 apiece for Chandler Smith, Austin Hill, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Sam Mayer. 1 win apiece for Jesse Love and Justin Allgaier. And again, the drivers without a win above the cutoff line would be Cole Custer, Sheldon Creed, Riley Herbst, AJ Allmendinger, Parker Kligerman, and Sammy Smith. First driver below the cutoff line is Ryan Sieg, and the gap between Sammy Smith and Ryan Sieg coming into today is 31 points. Behind Sieg in the standings is Anthony Alfredo, Brandon Jones, and Parker Retzlaff. Also within 1 race worth of points of the regular season championship leader, Cole Custer. Again, 1 point back was Chandler Smith, as I already mentioned. Austin Hill's 41 points back, and he did have a 25-point penalty after an incident with Custer at Charlotte, so if it wasn't for that 25-point penalty, he would only be 16 back, so that is looking costly right now. Position-wise, he'd still be in 3rd, so maybe regular season end, it might not make a difference, but we'll have to just wait and see if that will be the case or not. Justin Allgaier is 44 points out of 1st. He's 4th overall. And those are the drivers all within 1 race worth of points of each other on the regular season leaderboard. 10 stage wins this year for Allgaier, by far most in the series. Next closest is 5 for Chandler Smith. Half that amount. Most laps led this year also for Allgaier, but again, only 1 win. 4 DNFs this season, including a week ago for Allgaier. That is where his struggles have been had. He's had the speed, has speed again today, has to make it to the finish. And to win a race, you must first finish. And that has definitely been a problem for Allgaier. He's been fast, especially on these shorter tracks. Phoenix, he blew a tire while leading in the final 5 laps of the race there. Led a bunch at Iowa last week, got in a wreck. And Charlotte earlier this year, granted that was 1.5 miles. Got in an incident there where he tried to clear himself off turn 4 when he wasn't clear, battling for 2nd on the late race restart. So again, the speed has definitely been there. And Justin Bonsignore stayed out of the pits. He'll be the leader on the restart. Christopher Bell, his teammate for this weekend, will be on the inside of row 1. Green flag back in the air. Much better restart for Bell. And again, Sieg struggles to get going on the restart. 2nd consecutive restart. The 39 has not gotten his way into turn 1. And everybody else behind him has to avoid. Bell comes out with the lead off the exit of turn 2. Bonsignore is in 2nd single file with Brandon Jones and Sheldon Creed side by side for 3rd place behind him. Creed going to slide up the hill trying to clear the 9 car. Goes way wide, opens up the door for Austin Hill to get to the inside of the 9 of Brandon Jones on the front stretch. He'll slide draft him, also side by side inside the top 10. Christopher Bell is leading for the first time today. He's a 6th different leader actually, with Bonsignore leading the laps under caution. So already 6 different drivers have led, 6 lead changes, and again, nobody has led more than once. Well, I guess Cole Custer's led more than once. So 7 lead changes total in this race. But again, 6 different drivers have led at least 1 lap. Bell and Bonsignore already over a second ahead of the drivers on back. Creed up to 3rd on the restart, so 1, 2, 3 for Joe Gibbs Racing. And the only JGR Toyota that isn't up inside the top 5 is Chandler Smith in 8th, who on the wet weather tires on the start of the race went from 3rd to outside the top 20 before the lap 10 cop yellow. Once he has gone to the slick tires, he has made his way back through the field, but again has only gotten to 8th. A lot of pit sequencing going on, obviously, with the plethora of cautions in the early going of the race as well. Have delayed his rising through the field, but he is working his way up as we speak. Corey Heim, another Toyota in the top 5 and 5th. Sam Hunt Racing Toyota The only other Toyota team that is in the Xfinity Series full-time, but in this Xfinity race today. And just made a pass on Austin Hill for the 4th place position. So now Toyota's 1, 2, 3, 4 in the running order. Toyotas have absolutely dominated the Xfinity Series race on the stat sheet in recent years, winning 6 of the last 7 races. Hey, Joe Gibbs Toyotas won 6 of the last 7 races at this racetrack. The only non-Toyota to win in that stretch is Justin Allgaier 2 years ago. And Christopher Bell out leading here in the early going. And with no practice or qualifying, these are his first laps in an Xfinity car this year. Of course, very different from what the Cup cars with the next-gen run nowadays. But this is definitely the best racetrack for Christopher Bell on the stat sheet. Again, he has won the last 3 he has competed in here. He's won for 1 career lifetime in the Truck Series here. And he has a Cup win also in just a few career starts at New Hampshire. Cole Custer trying to put a fight to those Toyotas. And he has actually led the most laps in the early going. And with the metric system, he started on the pole for this race, but was doing great out in front. Gonna be tough to break up all the Camrys in front of him, but he's gonna do what he can. Sheldon Creed seems to be a little bit slower than Corey Hyman. He's holding him as well as a few other cars up in line behind him in 3rd. Over a 3-second gap between himself and Bell now at the front of the field. Austin Hill continues to go backwards on the restart. Brandon Jones is now underneath him, and Chandler Smith, another Toyota, is rising again through the field up to 6 right behind Custer. Heim lost a lot of time in the center of turns 1 and 2 to the car in front of him of Creed. Custer still has not been able to actually get to the inside of the 26 despite battling behind it for quite some time. Currently lap 15 of stage 2, 30 to go in the second stage, and lap 60 of 200 overall. Just over a 1-second lead for Christopher Bell at the very front of the field.
Plans to make a move. Back-to-back weeks in the 26 car for Corey Heim are massive. And Jeff, you can speak to this. When you're doing these one-off races, it's very difficult. Corey told me, he said, listen, I had a hole in my Truck Series schedule. I would rather be in the seat than not be in the seat. But when you're able to be in a car back-to-back weeks, what does that afford a driver, Jeff, when he's not really used to this race team?
Well, this race team, Marty, has multiple drivers in it, and all drivers are different. And I think it creates a big challenge for the race team to try to understand exactly what driver they have in it and what he likes and doesn't like. So spending back-to-back days with each other, that goes a long way for his development as a driver. Now it's easier to connect the dots, so to speak. You run a race, you learn. You go to the next race, you apply what you learned, and that you build the foundation like that. So back-to-back is an advantage for the driver and the team.
A little bit of pressure now from Cole Custer behind him. Cole Custer, a champion from a year ago, and the big story coming out of his organization, Stewart Haas Racing, they were closing their doors at the end of the year. A new announcement came out. Haas Factory Team is going to be started, which really is a new team. It'll have 1 Cup Series charter for a Cup car to be run, and then there will be 2 Xfinity cars that will still run out of what is now going to be Haas Factory Team. You see the numbers for Cole Custer as far as this season compared through the 15 races of his championship year.
Cole Custer is patiently working on this 26. At the bottom of the screen, you see a battle between JRM teammates, the 1 of Sam Mayer, the 8 of Sammy Smith. The 8 just keeps kind of rolling, makes corner exits so much more difficult for the 1.
We saw the 38 just in front of Sam Mayer. Here was just a couple laps ago, a little contact between the 2.
Anthony Benedetto on the outside of Mayer. Mayer slides up in front of him. Matty D with a little notice. I'm here.
Made by Cole Custer around the 26 of Heim, but now we see the 81 putting pressure. So Chandler Smith in that red 81 pressuring high.
Well, let's not forget, Chandler Smith was the driver on the wets earlier in the race that went all the way back to 23rd, said how awful his car was. It was hitting the splitter. We've seen now a couple cycles on dries, either adjustments or just the car gets better now they're on a more standard tire. He's that other Joe Gibbs Racing entry. We made a lot about the front three being 1, 2, 3. Chandler Smith is thinking, nah, we're going to make this 1, 2, 3, 4. Just give me a few more laps. I'm coming as well.
Well, there's 5 Toyotas in the top 6.
Yeah, how does that make you feel if you're worst running Toyota? Now you're running 6, but you're the worst running Toyota.
You just have to keep saying it's 6. It's not that bad.
Not that far off. Christopher Bell, though, he's won 3 times before. Can you make it 4?
23 laps to go, about halfway through stage 2. Again, Christopher Bell leads. He's got a 2.1 second lead over Justin Bonsignor, his teammate for this weekend, in second. Sheldon Creed is in third, Cole Custer fourth, and Corey Heim is in fifth. Chandler Smith 6th, Austin Hill 7th, Justin Allgaier 8th, Brandon Jones 9th, and Parker Kligerman, after his spin in stage 1, rounds out the top 10 in 10th. So that's the top 10 on the leaderboard. 4 cautions through stage 1. No yellows here in stage 2 to this point. 6 different leaders, 7 lead changes. 34 laps left for Cole Custer, most in this race. Sam Mayer won stage 1, leading 9 laps in that stage. And Christopher Bell, and again, our scheduled length is 200 laps, 200 miles around a 1-mile oval in Loudon, New Hampshire. Earl Arnold Jr., thanks for tuning into the stream as well. Race was slightly delayed from 3 p.m., but still started earlier than what the scheduled start time was coming into the weekend due to potential rain. Appreciate everybody tuning in despite those adjusted start times. Got 35 likes on the stream. Our goal is 100 for the Xfinity Series race streams throughout the season, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. Take a quick break. Continue the live commentary coverage here for Stage 2 at New Hampshire. A NASCAR nonstop side-by-side commercial break on the USA Network as we run right now. Again, 20 laps to go in Stage 2. Bowman looking to the inside of the 38 of Matt DiBenedetto. Couldn't quite make the pass there. DiBenedetto had actually driven his way up to about 12th. Tires might be falling off of it now as he's falling back to 17th and about to lose another spot. Ryan Sieg, Riley Herbst battling for position as well. They're just outside the top 10. Chevrolet, I wouldn't say they're struggling. It's just Toyota's that much better. And Cole Custer, the lone Ford, which Fords have been good on the flat tracks in the past in the top 3 series. So maybe no surprise Custer is running where he's at right now. But the Toyotas this season in particular, they're very good on the flat tracks, the short tracks, and both the NASCAR, Xfinity, JGR, and Toyota's playground in this series at this track.
Look at the campers here at the Hampshire. So much fun to be able to spend a weekend just enjoying racing. Seeing a pretty good battle here. And Foppel making the move by Alex Bowman.
Paul's done a nice job. Head start in the back. A few times he's been able to drive the Xfinity car. He's done a great job. The first 2 times in it, finished top 5.
I thought he had Dover. I thought he had it won. It was a great battle between him and Ryan Truex.
He's won multiple car store championships, which really Junior was really impressed by and gave him this opportunity.
So again, that's Carson Foppel on the bottom. And how about Heim fighting back on the outside as the top of the screen? We see Smith and now Allgaier. Allgaier working to the inside of that 81 with 16 to go here in stage 2.
Whoa, contact there. Allgaier up into the 26.
So Heim starts to fall back just a bit as Brandon Jones now sets his sights on that position.
Good recovery by Brandon Jones. They need a good clean run, that 9 car. They just have had one of those years where nothing has gone their way.
You see these 4 cars separated by 6/10 of a second, all for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. to Chandler Smith out in front in the 81. Take another look at what happened here between Allgaier and Heim.
Now you see Allgaier on the bottom of the racetrack. It's really hard to get grip there and just misjudged it. Used a little bit too much racetrack. Really liked the move that Heim made right there. He could have said, all right, buddy, and just stayed in the gas and been hard-headed and wrecked both of them. But a smart move, just saying, all right, I didn't like that, but we're gonna live to fight another day.
We hear Corey Heim's name a lot when we talk about open rides, even at the cup level. And a lot of it has to do with how fast you are, how many races you win. But for me, if I'm the president or competition director, it's moves like that impressed me more than the speed, right? Because that is not only fast, but he could have jumped the car and he didn't. And when you come to Sundays, that's the give and take that's really required.
Marty, what about Sam Mayer?
After winning stage 1, only up to 14th after the stop at the end of that stage. But that's not the issue. The issue, and it has been all day long, is the radio. Listen in to some of what Sam Mayer is hearing inside the car.
Inside, clear. Working on it. Hang in there. I know it's annoying. We'll be all right. Anybody that's not me, Sam, or Marty, please turn off for a bit.
And Jeff, that noise you hear has not gotten any better. I've heard some bad radios in my life, but that may be one of the worst ones. And that beeping you hear is constant almost in Sam's ear. You can understand his frustration.
It'd be very hard to concentrate with all that going on. And you heard the Kevin Hamlin, the spotter, say, everybody except for me and the crew chief, turn your radios off. Let's make sure, if it's not necessary, let's make sure it's not your radio causing an issue. Steve, that's really the only thing you can do. You can switch radios, you can do some other things, but first, just get everybody off the channels to try to eliminate it.
Yeah, when we talk about scanners, that's kind of your radio frequency to a certain decimal point. Then to be able to broadcast, it's almost one more decimal point out. That's not normally shared, the exact broadcast frequency, but it could be a radio literally in the radio cabinet of the truck, sitting in the charger that's on, or I've seen, marketing things, and it's just, a marketing person who just the button just keeps getting keyed up.
So how bad is it? Let's listen in live now to the one radio.
Oh my goodness.
That's all I can stand. I can't take it anymore. I mean, this is an impressive try by Sam Mayer.
That is tough.
What a mess.
I mean, at some point, you just want to turn it off. Right? If the
I would.
danger in turning it off is the spotter can't let you know there's a wreck, right? That's the danger. But at some point,
Fuck
I would
it.
just get that out of my ear.
And Steve, he said on the radio just a moment ago, enough. And they said, okay, when you get a moment, Mayer is dealing with, and oh, by the way, making passes on the racetrack. And you weren't kidding, Rick. That was live. That is nonstop in Sam Mayer's ear.
So go to channel 2. He has two options to literally reach down and turn the primary radio to channel 2. And most race teams, you set it where there's only 2 channels in there, so you can't mess it up. A lot of race teams, actually, what we did is the second radio would be on channel 2, because it's much easier to go from radio 1 to radio 2. At a short track, the antenna's not really a big deal, so we'll have to see if the one can find a solution past this radio issue. The 7 and the 81 are in a tight battle, though, from 5th.
As Jesse Love on the outside of that one of Mayer, still able to hold on to position as A.J. Allmendinger's putting a little pressure on him. And the 7 of Allgaier a little bit sideways there after chasing after that 81 of Chandler Smith, Kim.
Yeah, the 7 just trying to wear Chandler Smith out. But let's talk about this run because he restarted 17th, has made his way up to the 6th position, trying to pass Chandler Smith for that 5th position. And this is what they were able to do last year. Last year, their specialty was the long run. And when I talked to the team, they said they brought an identical setup from last year because Justin was so good. This team just looking for momentum and luck again. They've already had a little bit of bad luck so far in this race with that kind of mysterious call that brought him down pit road. But Justin says, yes, we had that win in Darlington, but week in and week out, we are fast. You'll see it here this weekend. We just have to be on the other side of luck.
It's a part of this sport. Luck is there. Bad luck, good luck.
Sometimes creating your own luck, though. I mean, like, no different than the gear issue today. I mean, it's easy to question whether they should have come down. I don't know exactly what's going on with the mechanical of the car, but that's, in my opinion, not bad luck, right? I mean, that was something that you felt maybe you had an issue or they felt like they had to come down. So you have to manage those. Like I said, so I'm not, it's easy to sit up here and question what Jim Pullman's thinking. He obviously knows his car better than we do, but sometimes you also create your own luck.
Once again, Jesse Love in that 2, challenging the one of Mayer.
Mayer's in an interesting situation here in that one car. He keeps trying to run the bottom. He has yet to be able to quite get this move done. Now way into the corner, going to try to slide up in front of Love in the 2. Can't quite get there. And Allmendinger back in that 16, he wants to catch the one to the bottom. He wants to try to get on the outside of it if he can't clear that 2. Once again, the one way down into the corner just can't carry the speed to the center. And Allmendinger sees it. He's like, all right, let me go with this 2 car. Let me get on the outside, try to take this spot.
Jim, we're also hearing that Allgaier might be having issues with his radio.
Yes, absolutely. A new development for Justin Allgaier since I last reported on him. Marty did a great job of explaining Stan Mayer his issue. Take a listen to Justin's radio.
Go to channel 2.
So, Steve, now that we've seen teammates from the same team and organization have the identical radio issue, why?
Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, each race team number has their own specific frequency for Radio 1 and Radio 2, but it's crazy to think Junior Motorsports has an issue with 2 of their frequencies. That is like undue frustration, right? Like the racing's tough enough to have to deal with things like that.
Final 2 laps of stage 2 in front of us. And still out front by almost 4 seconds is Christopher Bell.
Wow.
Then Bonsignor running in that 2nd spot. Very impressive. Be able to hold on to 2nd. And just his first ever Xfinity Series start, Cole Custer, Creed, and Smith all in the top 5. That's Chandler Smith.
The thing about Bonsignor, I mean, he is running 2nd to Christopher Bell, perhaps the best Xfinity driver ever here, and he has the pace to keep up with him.
It's almost like, if it's an IMSA race, he's leading GTD. Unfortunately, Bell is like the GTD Pro class.
Yeah. And off of 4, Bell is going to win stage 2. That's his 5th stage win at New Hampshire. Remember, he has 3 wins in his 3 starts in the Xfinity Series here, looking for a 4th. Good battle here for position as Corey Heim is able to stay in front of Brandon Jones. Heim finishes 7th, Brandon Jones 8th, Austin Hill, and Parker Kligerman rounding out the top 10 in stage 2. Well, Boston, they are the city of champions. They've been celebrating titles for decades. New England's successes have been unmatched. Bruins, Patriots, Red Sox, and the Celtics, they just added that 18th banner.
Christopher Bell, again by over 4 seconds, is going to go on to win stage 2 here today. Justin Bonsignor 2nd, Cole Custer 3rd, Sheldon Creed 4th, and Chandler Smith 5th. Justin Allgaier 6th, Corey Heim 7th, Brandon Jones 8th, Austin Hill 9th, and Parker Kligerman rounds out the top 10. Stage points awarded to the top 10 positions, 1 point per position. Christopher Bell and the 20 team will get the playoff point for the owner's standings, and they do have a couple wins already this year in that 20 car. Eric Almirola was able to win for him earlier this season, and Jonathan Nemechek also was able to win in the 20 earlier this year. I think Ryan Truex was in the 19 when he won, if I'm not mistaken, so I think both those cars are in the owner's playoffs. I believe Truex was in the 19. But they've had 3 part-time drivers win at Joe Gibbs Racing this year. Bell or Bonsignor are trying to become the 4th. Numerous drivers have been running those 20 and 19 cars on a part-time basis, whether they are younger drivers making maybe series debuts, just trying to get some extra laps from other series, maybe not even in NASCAR at all. Cup regulars coming down to run that also. So definitely a lot of different drivers going through those 2 teams, and they're the top 2 so far today in the first half of the race. And you're listening to the SciAps 200 at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series right here on KRC. We'll have pit stops during the Stage 2 break on the other side as we take a break of our own. Yeah, I'll reiterate it again. I mentioned during our slow, short 20-minute practice session stream for NASCAR Cup Series action earlier today, Apparently, I had set a live stream last night for NASCAR 07 that I set that stream already, let alone set it for last night. So if there was a stream scheduled to run and wasn't starting, you were in the chat, I apologize for wasting your time there. We will get that NASCAR 07 stream in this weekend, but I don't know why I scheduled it for last night. I didn't realize it until actually this morning that that had actually happened. I was not on YouTube last night, so again, apologize for that, for the misconvenience.
Chassis and air pressure adjustment to help with that turn on full Custer as tires going on, Marty.
Christopher Rhodes said he's three in the first half of the corner. Then Steve Bruce late in the run on the exit of the corner. Just Monsignor was flipping on the radio fan. He said, "Whoa, man, I'm learning on the fly. You're absolutely doing a terrific job. It's a little too free on braking, but the drive off on the 19 car is just terrific. And look at that. Cole Custer will leave pit road with the lead."
Yeah, Senor, he doesn't do a lot of pit stops like this in the modified series, so lost a couple spots there.
Well, a couple spots, a 7 of Justin Allgaier just now pulling off pit road.
Oh.
Being game inches. That white line is out of bounds to the front. He's about an inch short of that. It looked like a normal pit stop. Left side goes up, very normal. A little bit of trouble with the jet going in, Kim, but then took forever on the left side. What are you hearing for the 7?
Well, it wasn't up tight, so he started to leave the box, and then they have to get him tight. You see the blood from right there, trying to get him tight. But the thing is, this is exactly what happened last year for Justin. He slid through his box. They serviced the car when he was outside the box. So pit road troubles at New Hampshire continue to plague Justin Allgaier.
Make your own luck, Rick. Make your own luck. That's not bad luck. That's just bad execution.
Twice today they have had some issues.
All right, so pit stops have just taken way under the stage 2 caution break. This is our 5th caution of the race, and we didn't have an incident at all in stage 1, or stage 2, I should say. Stage 1, we had 4 cautions in those first 45 laps. We had to go 45 more before getting our next yellow. No more guaranteed yellows the rest of the way. We've had a comp yellow, of course, starting on the rain tires, switching to the dry. Got 2 stage ends, 2 cautions for incident, both at stage 1, and we'll see how this final stage will go as we go to the end of the race. Cole Custer again won the race out of the pit, so he'll be the leader on the restart. Repass went to Leland Honeyman in the 42 car, so he'll get back on the lead lap. We'll have 30 cars on the lead lap to begin stage 3. 86.57 mile per hour average race speed to this point, a little over an hour into this race from the drop of the green flag to where we are now. Christopher Bell has led the most laps so far, 42 laps led. Pole sitter Cole Custer has now led 3 times a day, 35 plus laps led for him. Bell won stage 2. Stage 1 winner was Sam Mayer. Mayer has led 9 laps. Again, the developing story was Sam Mayer and Justin Allgaier. Radio frequency issues going on there. A very annoying one at that for all the team members involved. I would imagine, especially the driver. He's trying to focus on hitting his marks lap after lap at high speeds, and he got a I don't even know what that is. It's like when you radio in, if you've ever used a walkie-talkie before, it won't happen. But it's the initial push, you'll hear that. That same noise is just happening on repeat over and over and over again, as you heard during the course of the broadcast there under green flag conditions. Bad enough that they have to turn the radios off. And I don't blame them for that, but that just makes it even more difficult to try to get the communications across as to what's happening on the track, spotter information as well. In these restarts, it's going to be very, very difficult, I'm sure, with the spotter and that noise going on. So at least 2 of the JRM Chevys having that problem. We don't even know about the other 2.
For 1/3 mile, came here for NASCAR racing, came here for the Superbikes. And if you see quarterly backstretch hill in the Superbike, changed my opinion very quickly of what it was like to race on 2 wheels.
That determined that you're going to be a crew chief as opposed to a driver. I want no part of it.
I ran the first Xfinity Series race here, and I grew up in the Southeast. I thought that's where all the race fans were. We came here, and I went, wait a minute, these guys here, they're fired up. They love the racing, and it was a wild race. That race took forever to run, but you could feel the excitement and the enthusiasm.
And like every good New England sports fan, they're going to tell you what they think about you. If you're not good, I like that. I like that about our New England sports fans.
So we talked about Bonsignor in the 19 car and how good of a job that he's done. This is a different type of racing. Pit stops and how you leave the pit box matter. Let's listen to see what he said about all that.
We just got to get up to speed a little bit quicker too. The struggle of trying to get all the way to the third for your life.
Like trying to get around the five, get it rolling, and then get the third really quick. I'm definitely the weak link there.
All right, so a lot of information there. So road pitting a race car is not just about in the box and out of the box. It's how the driver gets down pit road. And he gave up 2 seconds just because he's not accustomed to it, Steve.
Yeah, does a nice job kind of turning in. Puts it right on the side. I think at this point he's doing a really, really nice job. Right sides look really good. They go to the left side, maybe a little slow on the right, but no real problem looking at the sign. But now what happens is the car in front of him comes in. So now he has to get the car turned out, Jeff. And you know, it's easy to stall. He does a nice job not stalling it. But then right here, first, second, looking for third, you see the 18 continuing to pass him.
And what you have to do is you have to speed. You got to get going really quickly, go through the gears to get to third gear, which is what they're saying his RPMs were for pit road. So it's hard to know if you're speeding through those sections as you're gaining RPMs. It's just a lack of experience. But so many times, these small things in a race determine wins. It's not always the big things.
And remember, this is a bucket list item for Justin Bonsignor. He's not looking to move into the Xfinity Series or up to the Cup Series. He's very good, a 3-time champion at the Modified Series, but he wants to show everybody modified drivers are good.
It's not a bucket item yet. But, you know, you just wait. If he runs second or third or first, I want to shut his phone off if he thinks he's not going to get some call.
Yeah.
All right, lights are out on the pace car. We'll be going green this time by Cole Custer and Christopher Bell on the front row. Custer, the control car on the outside, as we've seen the control car on the outside of row 1 all day. Green flag back in the air. Bell to the inside of the second place car, Chandler Smith. They're door-to-door for position, off into that first turn. And Bell's going to win that battle for second. See Love, and he made contact. Somebody, couldn't tell who it was, a blue car of some sort. Bell overdrives the entry to turn 3 now and gives up second place to his teammate Chandler Smith. Big slip up from the rear tires there by Bell. Definitely hot stepped at getting in. Trying to gain it back now on the other end of the track as he gets back into a rhythm-based set. Justin Bonsignor, who lost some ground on pit road, back in the 5th place position on the race start, right behind his teammate Sheldon Creighton, looking to make the pass for 4th. Again, 3-time Modified Series champion, making his Xfinity Series debut today at New Hampshire, same track he won the Modified race in earlier this morning. Modifieds always put on a great show at New Hampshire as well, and didn't get to see that race earlier, but sure was another good one. Caution is out. The 6 of Romani Williams has gone for a spin off turn 4. First caution for incident of stage 3 and our 6th caution total on the day. Cole Custer, leading these laps on the restart, now has eclipsed the most laps led to this point in the race, as he has led one more lap than Bell. 43 to 42 is the number on that. Free pass with this caution, I believe, is going to go to Haley Deegan. And 29th place, Deegan will get back on the lead lap. And still outside the fuel window to make it to the end, so I'd imagine these teams will continue to save and stay out. Fuel window right around 70 to 80 laps to make it on a full tank here at the Magic Mile. Looked like a little bit of contact at the very back of the field where Armani Williams went for a spin. He was off the lead lap at the point of this caution. So top 5, as of right now, with the yellow flag coming out at about the halfway mark. Cole Custer leads, Chandler Smith 2nd, Christopher Bell 3rd, Sheldon Creed 4th, Justin Bonsignor rounds out the top 5 and 5th. So that is the running order as of that yellow. Again, 6 different drivers have led, 8 lead changes in this race. Forgot to close the chat poll at the end of stage 2. I'll close it now at the halfway mark here during this early caution of stage 3. And we'll see where we ended up once the tallies are in. Still waiting for the results to pop up in the chat. There we go. I had to refresh the page to get the stats up, so sorry if there was a slight lag there. Wow, tie. 34% of the votes going in a tie between Christopher Bell and other for who you think will win this race today. That might be the first time we've had a tie this season in a chat poll. That's how tight it was. 60 votes were casted. Alex Bowman getting 20% of the votes and 10% for Chandler Smith. Toyotas have been dominant for the most part by the speed side of things today. Cole Custer kind of leading the way for Ford and putting some sort of a fight to those Toyotas. At the front of the field, again, Custer has led the most laps so far. And Sam Mayer did win stage 1 out of the Chevy camp, but hasn't led a lot of laps since. Missed the stream last night. Yeah, I've mentioned that a couple times already. That I don't know why I had. Obviously, I was the one that made the mistake setting the stream for last night. I did not think I did. I actually completely forgot it was even set to begin with. But yeah, so I apologize for setting that last night. I didn't put in the community tab on the streaming schedule that I was going to stream that last night, so it was definitely not planned. So sorry if you guys were waiting in the chat for me to show up when I was never going to. I didn't notice many people that commented in the chat, so I don't think it was too big of a deal, but apologize again to those of you that were in there. So again, Cole Custer leading under the caution.
Creed in those 2 out of 5 positions as we take a look at the Toyota driver update. And Christopher Bell, we mentioned the domination that he has put on here. 42 laps led already today.
Before Cole Custer's there leading the race, you look back, you see a lot of teammates, a lot of Toyota guys. They are going to be putting the pressure on him.
Whatever lane you pick, you're going to have a Gibbs car next to you and one behind you.
Yeah, this was the last restart. The exit of turn 2. 2 into the 9. 2 get sideways. And we talk about restarts here. That's just what happens. 3 wide, 4 wide.
Take a look at Leland Honeyman and see what happened. This was under caution.
Wow. It's crazy.
Right front tire. I mean, if something is broken in front of this car.
Yep, the control arms unbolted.
Field 2x2 as we come up on 95 to go. Custer on the outside. Seabell on the inside as we get ready for the restart.
See how tough it is to take off right there, the 20 on the inside.
Historically here, Steve, the inside does not get a good launch on the straight.
Remember, the 20 had that big slide in turn 3 last time. We'll see if it's a little bit better now that the tires have some time on them. Almost looks like a little bit of a timid entry to make sure he doesn't drive up into the door of the 81, but it just doesn't roll. Like the 20, as good as he is out front, was just kind of parked in the middle of the corner.
Hill once again using that apron as you see him on the inside of the 48 of Parker Kligerman.
They're going to shift it. You're right on board for a lap. Yeah, let's see what's going on here.
I think they probably just got so slow on the restart, they all got stacked up. RPMs came down long enough for him to downshift.
Turning his brake pads on, I assume is what that move was.
See right here, no movement on his right hand to downshift it. Yeah, I think that's what happens, Steve. Just all bottled up on a restart, just trying to build speed.
Maybe it looks like the brake adjustment. You look at the steering wheel, the 3 different lines of tape, all for different reasons. Some is from the right to the left side on a pit stop. The driver needs to actually turn the wheel a little bit. The wheel opening's so small on these cars in the front end settings, you actually have to turn the wheel a little right and a little left to get the front tires off cleanly.
We see Sam Mayer on the outside here of that 48 of Kligerman. Remember, Sam Mayer, difficulties with the radio. See if anything has changed on that front.
At the battle for the lead, Christopher Bell has led a ton of laps, but he's lost his track position. Now he's got to try to get back to the front.
He's at 39 on the motor speed grind. See, it's worth pointing out. It's been quite a year. Remember, so good earlier in the year. I thought he had won Texas. Yeah, so close winning Texas. And then here he is. He's racing against some of the bigger teams, trying to battle his way into the top 10. He's in the 39 this week because the 38 is Matt DiBenedetto. And we're outrunning Matty D. Matty D's back at 19th. Ryan kind of flexing a little bit. Fastest of the organization at the moment.
And Parker Kligerman still trying to make the pass here on scene.
And this is where race car drivers kind of get so impatient. This is not a racetrack where you kind of set a guy up, pass him, and move on. You work and work and work to get next to him, and then it's like a game of inches. It sometimes takes 3 or 4 laps. Really, you're trying to push a guy into a mistake more than anything. If that guy can just slip a tire, you can clear him. That's what makes the strategy so important, Jeff, because even on newer tires, you have to work so hard to get back by guys. The tires just kind of lose their luster.
Yeah, anything you can do to get track position, whether it's good pit stops, strategy, whatever it is, you've got to do it.
That matters because with 89 to go, I think the fuel window is around lap 80. But if you had a yellow right now, I think the leaders would be forced to come down to pit road and try to stretch that fuel. Custer doing a really nice job. We make such a statement about how good Joe Gibbs Racing is here for all the right reasons. They have the stats, but I think that's what makes this run by the Double Zero even more impressive for me.
And for Cole Custer, despite coming in, the points leader still does not have a win on the season. And when I talked with Cole about it, he said, I feel like we're top 5 or so every single weekend, and it's very strange to be leading the points, but also a little bit frustrating that you haven't won yet. He said, I think it's coming. We just have to keep knocking on the door. That's exactly what they're doing this weekend. And when I talked to Crew Chief Jonathan Tony, he said, Cole makes his job easy. If he gives him something close, Cole can drive it to a win. And it looks like, Marty, today could be their day if they keep it up.
But Christopher Bell is lurking back there, Kim, who lost all those spots. He said it was weird what happened in turn 3 on the last restart. It almost was like he hit water. He knows he did not hit the water. Obviously, no water on the racetrack, but it seemed like maybe the splitter hit the racetrack and Bell just shot up the track. But the car tends to get better the longer they run as we ride on board the Toyota onboard with Christopher Bell sitting in third and seemingly pretty quick and could catch the front 2 guys. Meanwhile, Rick, you asked a question about Sam Mayer's radio. Good news, bad news. The bad news is Channel 1 sounds exactly the same. The good news is they were able to switch to Channel 2 for Sam Mayer, so now all quiet and very normal on his radio.
That distraction being gone has to be very welcome for Sam Mayer. Again, Mayer running in the 10th position, chasing after Austin Hill. Take another look at this restart.
Sheldon Creed, a little bit of contact right here. He's got to lift off the throttle. His teammates going at it. Whoa, the 21 into the side of the 98. Austin Hill in that white car just really loose.
And we'll see how Hill does through 1 and 2 now. As it tucks in behind the 98. Sam Mayer behind them.
You know what's interesting is this racetrack seems like every time we come here it's something different. Like the line changes just a little bit, and right now the fastest line is on the bottom. It's really low. Like the corner exit's really low. A lot of times we'll see a little bit higher exit, but It's going to be really difficult to pass with the line all the way down there.
Creed making the pass on the inside. Heim in that 26, still running well. Custer, though, leading New Hampshire.
82 laps to go this time by with Cole Custer out in front by about 7/10 of a second over Chandler Smith in second place. Christopher Bell is in third, Justin Bonsignor fourth, and Corey Heim just got passed by Sheldon Creed. So Creed now fifth, Corey Heim in sixth. Sammy Smith is seventh, Riley Herbst eighth, Austin Hill ninth, and Sam Mayer is 10th. Ryan Segan 11th, Parker Kligerman 12th, AJ Allmendinger 13th, Alex Bowman 14th, Carson Quaffle 15th, Justin Allgaier 16th, Jesse Love 17th, Brandon Jones 18th, Matt DiBenedetto 19th, Shane Van Gisbergen is 20th. 21st for Josh Williams, Jeb Burton 22nd, Parker Retzlaff 23rd, Kyle Weatherman 24th, Jeremy Clements 25th. 26th for Anthony Alfredo, Brendan Poole 27th, Glenn Reen 28th, Haley Deegan last car in the lead lap at 29th. Blaine Perkins is 30th, Mason Massey 31st, Kyle Seed 32nd, Garrett Smithley 33rd, Ryan Ellis 34th, Nathan Bird 35th, and Hermione Williams 36th. 37th is Patrick Emmerly, and the only driver out of the race right now is Leland Honeyman, 24 laps down in 38th. 6 different drivers have led today. Cole Custer has led 60-plus laps from the pole. He's led 3 different times, only driver to lead more than once. Christopher Bell led 42 laps en route to a Stage 2 win. 9 laps led for Sam Mayer en route to his Stage 1 win. 2 laps led for Austin Hill, 3 apiece for Bonsignor and Sammy Smith. And then again, 8 lead changes with those 6 different leaders. 6 cautions total, few of them for incident. 1 incidental caution here in Stage 3. All those cautions in the first 100 laps. As the green flag run is now right around 20 laps, as we have 79 laps to go. As we are about an hour and a half or so into this race, 85.74 mile per hour average race speed. We're listening live to the SciAps 200 on KRC for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at New Hampshire. We'll take an ad break, and we'll get you right back to that live commentary coverage again here shortly. Scotty Dingus, thanks for tuning in. He's pulling for Bowman to win today. $53 for 4 hoagies at Subway. I blame inflation. That sounds ridiculously expensive. I don't care what goes on that thing. That's crazy. Bond1771, thanks for tuning in as well. And many others who I maybe haven't shouted out throughout the course of the stream, thank you for watching.
23 laps. Right from the roof of the 20, a 15 valve, having time, kind of looking out the window. It's the brightest it has. Dare I say some sunshine on the racetrack, and I think that's because you see that shadows, the car's making shadows in the backstretch. Change the handling very quickly. If the temperature comes up, you mentioned that bottom lane was the fastest. You wonder if it gets a little warm and slick if it doesn't move up to that second lane.
This is a great battle right here. Christopher Bell, I feel like he's just a little bit quicker than 81 to Chandler Smith, but he can get here, but he's yet to be able to clear it. This is as far up as he's been on him. Let's see what he does getting into turn 3. Will he try to slide him or keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack? Chandler, I believe, just kind of smartly said, all right, you're quicker this time of the race. I'm going to give you this spot. He didn't really put up that big of a fight.
Now nobody between Bell and Custer, 2 seconds separating 1 and 2.
So let's see the speed that Bell has. I feel like Chandler's been holding Christopher up a little bit. Not that he was doing anything wrong. That's his job to hold him up. But let's see if Christopher Bell can start running Custer down. Yeah, watch his hand. Left side window in the 81. That's the all right, bud. You go ahead and go. And he did that, Steve, because that was as far as the 20 had gotten up on the 81. Before, he was always like his left or the quarter pound. He went door to door.
So now is it going to be so nice to Bonsignor? Right, it's one thing to Christopher Bell with 3 wins here and 3 starts. We'll see if the modified driver, although he turns left, gets a pretty good run underneath the 81. bottom of the screen. Remember earlier we saw contact between the 48 and the 16, some words on the radio. I don't think it was AJ's fault. I'm not sure Parker sees it that way. We'll see if back there at 12th.
Bonsignor to the outside now of Chandler Smith.
What a move. That now he's got Chandler where he wanted him. He wanted the outside. Everybody's been trying to pass on the inside. That was an aggressive move. Great driving.
So much racecraft. I know it's his first start in one of these cars, 36 years old, but won that modified race today. Timed Teddy Christopher for third all time in the modified win list. 3-time champ. And you can tell Marty, I know he might have to learn the car, but there's zero question that he has so much racecraft.
Boy, what an impressive debut for the Xfinity Series for Justin Bonsignor, who, yes, did win the modified race earlier today. And see, that's a great point. He said, like modified, I know exactly where everything is on that car. To me, these Xfinity cars just feel so mixed and just getting used to the car. And he's mentioned that a few times on the radio. He's told the team the car is really good. I'm just learning every lap, learning so far. He's been very impressive, Kim.
And Chandler Smith having been just passed by two of his teammates. The interesting thing is when he was running second, he said, I don't know how we're second. We are a third to fifth place car, so we can take a swing at this next time we're down to be a winning car. Sure enough, now he finds himself right in that position, in that fourth position where he guessed they should be running. The front end is non-existent. It is numb. It is so tight. So right now, Chandler Smith does not have the car he needs under him to be a winning race car here this afternoon.
How about Carson Quampler in the 88 going up against the Cup driver in the 17 of Alex Bowman and then HenryCars.com, number 17. Parker Kligerman with a front row seat of this battle.
I think he's got enough track position on him. He just needs to overdrive the entry here and kind of just take the spot.
He did.
Young man's done a nice job. Every opportunity he's gotten.
Allgaier once again trying to get by that 16 of Allmendinger. This time he completes the pass.
It's been anything but smooth for the 7, but you can't argue the speed that they bring. Once again, another fast car.
So check this out. We talked about it. Bonsignor saw how long it took Christopher Bell to get by the 81. He's like, well, you know what? If you don't run that bottom, I'm going to jump up here. And that is a move, Steve, that we see a lot with the modifieds, right? Using a lot of racetrack. We just talked about how everybody's just stuck right on the bottom. He was willing to go there because of the confidence he had in the knowledge of the racetrack. Even though he doesn't know this car, he has a lot of laps here. And he just said, let's put it up here and see what happens.
Yeah, I hope if Kevin Harvick's watching, I hope he had a smile. That was a little Kevin Harvick-esque as you see a big slide here. He kind of runs that second lane on exit with confidence, not necessarily to pass, but that's what that looked like for the 19.
There's Cole Custer, and he starts to put it
down their Cup organization. A lot of question marks what was going to happen this week. It was announced that they're going to have basically a Haas factory team next year that plans to run 2 Xfinity cars and 1 Cup car. No more details yet on who the drivers are. It would shock me if Cole Custer isn't part of that organization, but nothing's been announced. We don't know. That's got to ease the mind of some of their employees, though, and maybe help the rest of this season kind of be just a little bit more confidence.
And I got a little bit of insight from series, 2 Xfinity Series teams. The one thing that everybody has to realize is we're really a new team. I've got to go out and find the drivers for the Xfinity Series. I've got to find the driver for the Cup Series. And I have to get sponsors. These are all new things, even though they have the experience of almost a little over a decade of experience being a team owner. They still have to kind of attack this as a new team.
Well, the key to that though is that if they're able to keep their people, you have Jonathan though. He's done a nice job of coming in, and remember last year they made him a crew chief. He was an engineer. They made him a crew chief, and they immediately ran well. There was a lot of apprehension about what kind of job Davin could do, but he's done a great job. So they have a great foundation to build off of.
A lot of racing all around the track. Up front, Cole Custer, good battle for 6th and 16th. Only 64 remain here in New Hampshire.
NASCAR nonstop on the USA Network for this Xfinity Series race coverage. We'll go through the full field running order again. Cole Custer continues to extend his lead. It's a 3.2 second advantage over Christopher Bell in second, Justin Bonsignor third, Chandler Smith fourth, and Sheldon Creed rounds out the top five. At six is Corey Heim. Riley Herbst seventh. He's working on Heim for that pass. Sammy Smith is in eighth, Sam Mayer ninth, and Austin Hill just dropped back to 10th. Justin Allgaier is in 11th, Ryan Sieg 12th, AJ Allmendinger 13th, Carson Kvapil 14th, Alex Bowman 15th, Brandon Jones 16th, Parker Kligerman 17th, Jesse Love 18th, Shane Van Gisbergen 19th, and Matt DiBenedetto is 20th. 21st is Josh Williams, Kyle Weatherman 22nd, Jeb Burton 23rd, Jeremy Clements 24th, Anthony Alfredo 25th. 26th is Parker Retzlaff, Brendan Poole 27th. He's the last car in the lead lap. Glenn Reen just went a lap down in 28th. Haley Deegan 29th. Blaine Perkins 30th. Mason Massey 31st. Garrett Smithley 32nd. Kyle Sieg is 33rd. 34th place is Ryan Ellis. Nathan Bird 35th. Armani Williams 36th. Patrick Emerly 37th. And Leland Honeyman, again, the only driver out of the race, now 44 laps down in 38th. Longest green flag run of the day is the one that we have. Actually, well, the stage 2 went caution free, so we probably had a little less than 40 green flag laps there. Working on close to that many laps during this green flag run, so this is fastly approaching to be the longest green flag run we've seen so far for this afternoon's Xfinity Series race at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We'll take another ad break. You're listening live on KRC to our full race live commentary coverage. Yeah, DiBenedetto part-time in the Xfinity Series. Just after 5 p.m. Eastern Time on the East Coast. Sammy Smith catching up to Corey Heim for position. Sam Mayer, Riley Herbst, all bunching together, all four of them. Within about 4 to 5 tenths of a second of each other. So it's a very, very tight four-car battle for sixth.
Laps remaining of SciAps 200 from here in New Hampshire. And that 26. Now trying to hang on to the spot as Sammy's trying to take it away. But it was the 98 of Riley Herbst that has lost the most positions, battling for position with that 26.
These guys were having a really good battle, and a little bit of contact off the corner that allowed Riley to get alongside. But you can see where Riley is. He actually ended up losing a couple spots trying to make that pass on Corey Heim.
58 to go in the race. It's getting to that point. Remember, they can run about 80 on fuel. So from the last pit stop around lap 93, no one can make it to the finish at lap 200. That'd be well over 100 laps. So, I think the teams can run probably 30 more laps. The question is, will they? It's not a huge advantage for new tires with traffic, but in clean air, clean racetracks, single file green flag pit stops, I think you're going to pick up 7, 8, 9 tenths of a second a lap. So when you see how close the field is, Cole Custer with a 3.5 second lead, he can be a little conservative and wait for the cars behind him to stop, not lose the lead if he comes the next lap. But if you're Bell, Bonsignor, Smith, Creed, the other Smith, both Smiths, Heim, Mayer, do you try to jump and leap the guy in front of you by coming early? Now the trick is, you see all these cars sliding around, all these close calls. It only takes one of those close calls to turn into a car backwards, and you can kind of be the wrong side of it. So we'll see who is aggressive on the pit call.
Does that force the issue if it's Christopher Bell?
Well, that's the advantage. Custer knows he's 3.6 seconds, so he definitely shouldn't come first. There's no reason. He's earned the right to wait having that lead. So I think he can sit and just kind of wait 2, 3 laps at the most. I wouldn't want to go more than 3. I really wouldn't want to go more than 2, because unlike most tracks, when you go out on cold tires, it doesn't the first corner isn't magical. You just don't fire off. You actually maybe slip and slide for a couple laps. And if you put your driver too much of a risk, like if you call Custer as the 1 and the 98 are in a duel right here, you could kind of get him to drive himself into a mistake if you put the pressure on him.
So see this battle right here. Ryan Sieg actually pitted a couple laps ago He just ran a 31:35 compared to the leader 31:74, so about a half a second on tires.
And that's for Sieg, who I don't think quite has leader pace. So I think Custer, I will assume he's going to pick up even more speed, probably 0.8 of a second.
You have to remember there was no practice, so the teams really don't know how much tires are worth, and everybody on pit road just watched Ryan Sieg and put no tires.
Yeah, Custer's fast lap of the race is almost 1 second faster than he's running right now. But like I said, he can sit and wait. I think it really comes down to Bell. Also, Bell not running for points makes his gamble a little bit easier, maybe.
Now, when you come down pit road before everybody else, trying to get those new tires on early, you expose yourself to the caution coming out at the wrong time and being a lap down.
Jeff, give me the challenge for the 19 of Monsignor. Not a lot of green flag pit stops and modifieds. When you look at pit roads, how would you rank New Hampshire?
Well, I think the key to that is I don't think it's a difficult pit road to get on. This is a great battle continuing between the 1 and the 98. However, the lack of experience, we just saw him lose time going down pit road. There's an art to getting onto pit road, maximizing that pace, not get caught speeding, and that's something that he has no experience on. So if he does a good job, it will be because of all the work he did in the simulator. And here comes Christopher Bell.
Bell on pit road now. So Marty, Christopher Bell trying to force the hand of Cole Custer.
Said he needs to turn better on exit, but mid corner is where he needs the most help. A few other cars coming down pit road as well. So he was 3 seconds behind Pilcher when the stops happened, Kim. We'll see if he can gain some time here.
As other cars making stops, including Riley Herbst, already on the left side for Fresh Goodyear tires. He said the balance is okay on entry. Then it gets loose as the leader, Cole Custer, comes in. The main chatter on the radio for him has been, where is Christopher Bell running? The team said, you're doing with your lap something very similar to what Christopher is doing. Just a little loose firing off for Cole Custer as he hopes to regain the lead when he gets back on the track. Marty?
So let's see how Justin Montemayor does on his first green flag stop here in the Xfinity Series. He said the was really good. And honestly, one of the best cars, the longer they ran, we'll see if he can gain some track position. Came in third. Also, you see up front pit road, Corey Heim coming in. Said his car struggling on exit. And Austin Hill had some really good long run speed, but he too, a little bit too tight the later they ran, Kim.
As Chandler Smith is going to make his stop, remember, he said they felt like they were a 3rd to 5th place car during that last run. Needed to make adjustment. You're seeing it right there, that chassis adjustment. He absolutely had no feel in the front end of that race car as they continue to make service for Fresh Goodyear tires, Snowboat fuel. Marty, service continues. Looks like maybe a cross on Corey Heim's car.
Yeah, they've had a long time here trying to get the left front on Corey Heim's car.
Oh, they dropped the.
Took the car down on the gun there, and he leaves with that under the car. So that was a really long stop for Corey Heim and his race team. Sam Nair also came down pit road. Bill Sheldon Creed just a moment ago, but Corey Heim wants a ton of track position here, Rick, on that pit stop.
Yeah, when they dropped the right side, it looked like they set it on the hose, and then the rear tire changer had to come to the front because they couldn't get that gun free to go over and do the front tire. And Steve, they could do that, right, without bringing another gun over?
Yeah, so we're going to see right here that the tire change is pulling on the hose because it is sitting under the right front tire. So you see he kind of goes back and forth, but it doesn't have an option. So the rear tire changer comes up and takes the tire off. So this is all just waiting on the left front. The issue probably happens when you run out to the right side of the car. If you get your loop in the wrong spot, it can land underneath the right front tire. Watch this, Jeff. You talked about entrance.
Well, this is just lack of experience. And Justin trying to get to pit road as quickly as he can and just completely out of control. And that, that's, again, it's just lack of experience. He was a second behind this 20 car when they pitted.
Yeah, we haven't heard of any penalties as of yet, as we still have quite a few that need to come to pit road for their stops. The top 7 still need to come to pit road.
Yeah, so we just said he was a second behind the 20 car when that pit stop started. Now he's 4 seconds behind. So, that's track position. Just, again, it's just all these little things that he just doesn't have familiarity with.
If the leaders or the ones that haven't pitted, you mentioned, Rick, what's their plan? Well, they're hoping right now we see a yellow 62 laps on this fuel run. If we assume they can go 80, We'll say they can go make 20 more. Maybe we've had some yellows in there. I like this call for Carson Kvapil. Let him lead the race. Let him get a little feel. He's done a really nice job behind the wheel. Maybe you get lucky, get a caution. Remember, this is that 88. We don't see this car number all the time. Behind him, the 9 of Brandon Jones. You would think, man, he needs to be conservative and score points. I actually like this. I think the 9 needs to quit worrying about points. We're looking for not a Hail Mary, but let's take some risks, take some gambles, see if we can get a little bit of good luck to go our way.
Alex Bowman, because of this strategy, is currently in the 3rd spot. Highest he's been in this race. Again, starting way in the back to start this race.
Now think about Retzlaff. He had that penalty to start the race. He was a lap down, like a lap 5. He's recovered all the way to 6th. And while he's 16 seconds behind and a pit stop is going to hurt him, he'll lose a lap because of where he's running. If he gets a yellow right now, it changes the entire complexion of the day. There's only currently 13 cars on the lead lap.
Kyle Weatherman running in the 4th spot in this 91.
See, drive smart on the quarter panels, nothing on the hood. I'd love to see a partner join up with Kyle Weatherman and give him the support. You know, there are times, Jeff, where, you know, it's hard in this series to try to understand kind of what they have for equipment because there is a variety of lane. Looks like the tires are up, maybe just a wiggle in corner entry.
Yeah, probably a lot of buildup on the tires. You know, tires are hot. You get up out of the groove, it picks up all that debris. Now no pace whatsoever. Let's see what happened. 98, he's on new tires. Yeah, I almost feel like that's a trap you get caught in sometimes when you have older tires and people around you have newer tires. You drive in the corner with them, and now you're going too fast. Like you do not have the pace that they have because they have newer tires. Looks like he just got in a little bit too deep.
So you see right there, it's Kvapil, Jones, Bowman, Weatherman. Let's not forget, there you go. Custer, first car of the cars that can make it. He's leading the group that can make it to the finish. Fell back in 8th is next. And then Smith in the 81. So that gives you an idea. When we see the final few pit stops, Custer should be the leader of the race unless we get a yellow before.
Bonsignor has dropped back to 5th of those cars that have already been on pit road. We'll see if he can grab a couple spots, but the laps are winding down. Only 41 still to go with Carson Kvapil out in front.
All right, 40 laps left at New Hampshire in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Carson Kvapil leads as we're in the midst of green flag pit stops still. Top 4 have not hit pit road. A couple others in the top 10 behind Cole Custer in 5th also have been pitted. So Carson Kvapil leads 2.9 seconds ahead of his teammate Brandon Jones in 2nd. Alex Bowman is 3rd. Kyle Weatherman 4th. Cole Custer, the first driver of those that have already pitted, is in 5th. Anthony Alfredo hasn't pitted yet. He's 6th. Parker Retzlaff hasn't pit under green yet either. He's 7th. Christopher Bell has pit under green. He is 8th. Chandler Smith 9th. Josh Williams, who hasn't pit yet, under green in the final stage, is 10th. Sheldon Creed is 11th. Justin Bonsignor 12th. 13th for Sammy Smith. Austin Hill 14th. Make that now 13th for Austin Hill. Riley Herbst is 14th. Ryan Sieg 15th. Josh Williams 16th. He's on pit road. Justin Allgaier 17th. Sam Mayer 18th. And AJ Allmendinger 19th. Parker Kligerman is first car lap down in 20th, but again, once the leaders that have to pit end up hitting pit road, he'll get back on the lead lap. Jesse Love has currently scored 21st as a result of that pit strategy as well. Glenn Reed, 22nd. Shane Van Gisbergen, 23rd. Matt DiBenedetto, 24th. Jeb Burton, 25th. 26th is Corey Heim after a very slow green flag pit stop. He may be a lap down still by the time everything cycles through. Brandon Poole is 27th, Blaine Perkins 28th, Jeremy Clements 29th, and Garrett Smithley is 30th. Mason Massey 31st, Kyle Sieg 32nd, Ryan Ellis is 33rd. 34th place is Nathan Bird, Haley Deegan 35th. 36th for Armani Williams, Patrick Emerly 37th, and Leland Honeyman rounds out the 38 car field. He's the only driver out of the race. Cole Custer has led 91 laps today, and he's the only driver to lead more than once, as he definitely has the dominant car when having the clean air. Christopher Bell's led the second most laps after winning Stage 2, and 42 laps led, and again, Stage 1 winner Sam Mayer, on a late race restart in Stage 1, has led 9 of today's laps. Carson Kvapil, who is currently leading during the midst of green flag pit stops, has now led 13 laps, 3rd most in the race today. Again, currently 18 cars on the lead lap until those top front runners have to pit. Custer's up to 4th, Bell in 5th, couple seconds ahead of him. Couple more cars to pit road, not including Kvapil quite yet. Continue our live commentary of today's race at New Hampshire for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Again, you're listening live on KRC.
that pit strategy that has Carson Quapple up front. Good to see them on pit road shortly as Quapple and Jones still to pit. We see Parker Retzlaff on pit road now. Alex Bowman is coming off of pit road after his stop. Kim.
Yeah, just finishing up service there. They were hoping for a caution. Crew Chief Greg Ide said early in the run, we are going to run it long. We have not been able to take this car anywhere, hoping for a caution. They didn't get it. They've run him down. Alex said it feels like he's just battling the race car way too tight, so they did make an adjustment as he blends on. And they had an uncontrolled tire during that stop, a slower stop early in the day, too, so it has not been a great day for Alex Bowman, who was hoping for extra seat time, Marty, to help him in tomorrow's Cup race.
Yeah, that is kind of insult to injury for the 17. Now we see the 9 come down to pit road. Marty.
Steve, agree with you. Why not try and stay out there and see if you can get something to fall your way for Brandon Jones and this race team. But overall, after a very rough 3 straight weeks of DNS, this has been a solid day for Brandon Jones at one of his better racetracks. Trying to play a little bit of strategy, but they do not get it to work out for them. Carson Quapple also coming down pit road. He's been so impressive in his start so far this year. He still has 4 races left in this 88 car. Coming up, Indianapolis will be the next start for Carson. He's run just outside the top 10 for much of the day here, coming for his final stop with 33 to go.
It's the heart. I mean, Junior Motorsports has the extra car with the 88. Hendricks here with the 17. There's a lot of pull on the pit crew department. Oh, boy, this is the yellow they were all looking for.
It might have come just a little bit late, though, as we see Armani Williams spinning and bringing the caution out.
Yeah. A little too late. A lap too late.
32 laps to go.
Keep on the bottom here. Get on with the bottom.
Right rear flat as well.
So normally in Xfinity Series racing, we would think the leaders would be done because they put 3 sets of tires on, but with no practice, they have an extra set. We'll see if anybody decides to use them. The 6 making his way back around. No interliners here at the short track. That's why the car sits so low on the wheels.
You just called it a short track.
It is to me. I know.
It races like a short track. I agree, Steve.
Surprising.
I'm a Steve.
Track length. But as an old school crew chief, you run a short track car here. You run brake ducts here.
Yeah.
You don't run interliners here. Everything seems like a short track.
Get him, Steve.
Here again, the reason for the caution. This is
It's really late in the corner to begin getting that loose.
Like almost on the straightaway.
Contact with the inside wall.
Second time he's gone for a spin today. Oh.
slid right through the opening.
There's flat spot. Oh, here it comes. I had to hit it somewhere. But, so you said it. So now this caution came out. So you've got all those guys that just pitted, with brand new tires.
Well, so currently scoring has Quapple on the lead lap in 16th, the last car with the newest tires. In front of him, take a say of Ryan Sieg. He pitted in lap 142. So, I think some will pit just because there's, you're not going to lose any spots. If you're Parker Kligerman or Love or Allmendinger, you're basically at the back of the lead lap now. I would come put my tires on because say we run 10 more, this would be my last. There's no reason to save them with 31 to go. And that will cycle the 88 up. I don't think the leader would come. Wow. So they think tires are a big value. Now I would flip it. I would stay out. If I'm somebody back there in the middle of the pack, for sure, if I'm the 88, I'm staying on the racetrack.
They're all coming in.
And as you see, Chandler Smith, interesting because originally they were not going to bring him down pit road. They did elect to bring him down, put fresh Goodyear tires. Cole Custer there in the middle. John, Tony said, we have 17 laps on this set of tires. That's about where they start to tank. I think we're best off if we take 4 fresh Goodyear tires. A little tight for Cole Custer, Marty.
For Chief Chandler Allen made this call for Christopher Bell on the bottom of your screen because Bell said, I don't know, I'm just not nearly as connected as I was earlier and nearly as connected as I need to be. So Bell needs a much better handling race car. The 4 fresh Goodyears will certainly help out. But Steve, how about this call for all the leaders to come to pit road here with 30 to go? The extra set certainly helps out.
The extra set of tires, a couple cars stay on the racetrack, the 2 and the 88. So brand new tires will be third on back. 30 to go. The shootout is here, Rick. I know there's been weather and a lot going on, but you are in for a treat here. This is going to be an exciting finish.
Looking forward to the final 30 laps. here in New England.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. 30 laps to go in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in the SciAps 200 at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We'll wait to go through the full field running order just a second here. I'll go through it following the pit stops under caution before we get into this late restart. Caution for Armani Williams, spinning. It's just our second caution of stage 3. And both of the yellows in stage 3 were actually spins for Armani Williams off turn 4. The first one at lap 100, lap 167 off turn 2. Green flag run was over 60 laps. Just saw a green flag pit stop cycle all the way through before the caution came out. Looks like the top 17 run the lead lap when the caution flag waved. And positions 18th through 27th all took the wave around to get back on the lead lap with the yellow. The drivers that took the wave around would include Alex Bowman, Josh Williams, Jeremy Clements, Anthony Alfredo, Brendan Poole, Corey Heim, Jeb Burt, Matt DiBenedetto, Kyle Weatherman, and Glenn Reen. All those drivers, again, took the wave around. Jesse Love will be the leader on the restart as he stayed out. Carson Kvapil also stayed out. Cole Custer, slightly fresher tires in second, but really Love and Kvapil were both either on pit road or within a lap or two of being in green flag conditions when the caution flag waved and they were still on the lead lap. So this caution actually works as perfectly as it could have for them. Leapfrogged the field. Now you have the two rookies going to be leading the way here when we get back to racing with less than 30 to go. Kvapil in a similar situation earlier this year at Dover, where he was leading late on a 1 mile track trying to go for his first career win. Handful of starts, if that, for Kvapil, all in the 88 for Junior Motorsports. Though he has been running outside the top 10 most of the day, so he doesn't have great speed. Same for Jesse Love. Love is actually outside the top 20 on speed there at the early going of stage 3. So both of these cars definitely don't have anything for Custer and Bell as far as the speed goes, but will the track position be the difference maker? And who will be the first to get through them if those drivers that have been faster all day today, like a Custer, Bell, Chandler Smith, which are potential incidents that may come with the aggressiveness of these late race restarts. Drivers in front of you that haven't been up there all day today, restarting in front of you. It's definitely going to make for a very fun finish, to say the least. Custer had about a 4-second gap over Bell for the majority of that green flag run, both pre and post pit stops. That gap is now gone, although he did beat Bell out of the pits. Custer still will restart third, with the top 2 staying out. Pit road penalty for Glenn Reen over the wall too soon. I believe he had actually gotten the free pass, if I'm not mistaken, the 9 car. No, Brandon Jones, sorry. Brandon Jones got the free pass in 16th. So 17th on back, like I mentioned already, all took the wave around. But Reen was one of them that took the wave around, so the penalty's not really going to hurt him. So through the choose rule, Jesse Love, no surprise he takes the outside of row 1. The control car has had the outside lane for every restart so far today, and I'm sure that will stay the same for the most part through the Cup race tomorrow, although you never know.
15th today. There's about a tenth to a 10th fall off on that run right there. So I think we could net gain. I'm sure we're going to bleed, but we're going to have a net gain, I hope. So
good.
Steve, right? It may not be to win the race, but they're about 18th to Danny's point.
Yeah.
Make this call.
The best way to call a race to admit what you have. You know, Danny Stockman didn't make any excuse there. We were going to run about 15. I mean, so what happens if it doesn't work? You run 16th. There's only 16 cars in the lead lap. I love the game. Why not?
Yeah.
The whole right here for Jesse Love.
Alrighty. We'll have 26 laps to go officially on the restart. Pace car is headed to pit road this time. And we got the 2 young guns, the rookies again. Jesse Love, Carson Kvapil on the front row. Love on the outside, Kvapil on the inside. How will they take off? Through the restart zone, green flag back in the air. Big push from Bell to the back of the 2. And Kvapil actually got a better launch than Jesse Love. Custer goes underneath both of them and takes it nearly 3 wide for the lead, but Kvapil will come up off of turn 2 with the race lead. Love trying to hang on for second with Custer still underneath him off the exit of the corner. 3 wide behind him on the back straightaway. Allgaier forcing his way underneath a couple cars that are to his outside. All the way to the apron, flatlining the corner entry was Allgaier for the back of the pack. Now he slides the rear tires as he got hit from behind. Keeps it going in the right direction. 3 wide, also off turn 4 briefly between the two JGR Toyotas underneath Jesse Love. Those two drivers were Bell and Chandler Smith. Contact between Smith and Bell through the center of 1 and 2 now. As they're still 3 wide, trying to get by Jesse Love, who has not had the pace those Toyotas have had today. Custer trying to chase after Quapple for the lead. Custer quickly got the second on the restart. Parker Kligerman, who took right sides only, holding up the outside lane. One car goes for a spin. I believe it's Chandler Smith. Everybody else evades. So Smith, who had been running top 5 all day, now at the tail end of the lead lap, a spin with 24 to go.
In the spot. He got sideways.
Rick, how difficult restarts are. Everybody's really aggressive, especially late in the race. Here it is, Chandler Smith underneath the 18. Sheldon Creed. Yeah, just hard racing, really. I didn't,
Contact made, but it was only the 81 of Chandler Smith that goes around, bringing the caution out for the 8th time. We'll have a choose and restart. We return.
Chandler Smith was on the bottom of 3 wide getting into turn 1 where he had that spin, made a little bit of contact after washing up the track with Sheldon Creed to his outside, and around he ended up going. Car got light. Couldn't make the save. Carson Quapple got to the lead on the restart on the inside of row 1. Second time we've seen somebody do that today. Austin Hill there briefly on Custer early in the race. I think it was the first restart on the slick tires. Was able to lead 2 laps by getting out in front of Custer. Custer is now on the outside of row 1 this time. It was Jesse Love in the 2, who has not had the pace today, but neither has Quapple, and Quapple still did a good job of getting out in front of him after Love had spun the tires in the restart zone. Custer is able to get to second, Bell to third before the caution flag waved. So your top 10 at the time of the yellow: Carson Quapple leads, Cole Custer is second, Christopher Bell third, Jesse Love fourth, Sheldon Creed fifth, Justin Bonsignor is sixth, Sammy Smith seventh, Justin Allgaier eighth, Parker Kligerman ninth, and Austin Hill is 10th. So again, that is the top 10 in the running order. 23 laps to go and counting down under caution. This is our 8th yellow of the race, I believe. 8th caution. Our 3rd of stage 3. And this is the most cautions we've had in the middle of a stage today. Tied for the most. We had 3 of them in stage 1, then the stage 1 break. No cautions in stage 2 till the stage 2 break. And 3 cautions now for incident all in the final 100 laps of stage 3. Quapple has now led 21 laps. He led a lot of those during the green flag pit stop cycling. Won't be able to lead the most today. Cole Custer has already locked in the most laps led. 94 laps led for the pole sitter. So he still tries to go for that first win to lock him into the playoffs. He is the points leader overall. Shouldn't be outside the cutoff line on points by any means at the end of the regular season unless something wild happens. But playoff points would be huge for him if he wants to make another run at the championship for the 2nd year in a row.
Carson Quapple trying to hold on. Cole Custer, who has led the most laps today at 94. And that last restart, we were wondering what happened to Jesse Love. Here's what happened.
Here's a great shot. Jesse Love on the outside. He's the control car, meaning he's got to fire. As soon as he gets in this restart zone, he can fire at any point. He goes right there, but then the 20 of Bell gets into the back of him, trying to push him. And when he does, he picks the rear tires off the ground, and it no longer is accelerating. And that allowed the inside lane to get going.
Tight shots there from the 20. Let's see now. All right, so if you're Carson Quapple, what do you need to potentially get to victory lane here? Well, listen to the pep talk.
I don't know. I love that. Take him out of something he's never been in, right? Don't let him think this is the Xfinity Series. It's big. It's just another race. And you've done this multiple times. Cars Tour is really competitive racing. You beat some of the very best in that business. Go do it here.
and that just puts him in his comfort zone.
Junior Motorsports is just, their late model is producing talent. Right? I mean, Josh Berry came through their late model. Now they have Carson Quapple in it.
All right, Rico dude.
Carson looks like he's going to stay outside. Cole Custer will be on the inside.
I think that's the right choice of both. I think you have to. If you're a Custer, I think you have to take the front row.
Hardy.
Chat with Andrew Overstreet. I didn't think this was going to work out this way. Did you, Andrew? But what did your driver learn from Dover when he finished second there that might help him here?
He's learned to be more committed to what these restarts are going to be. He's trusted, and we've done a lot of work looking him on the simulator. We've had a car that's as good as Xfinity 10G, but we didn't have track position. We just had to do something different, and we took all week. We were going to be aggressive, and good Lord let it work out for us.
You can see sometimes you never know when that caution's going to fall your way. It certainly has for this Junior Motorsports team in the 88.
Hey, you got to just keep trying to call a race where you have a chance, right? When you sit on top of the pit box, what can I do to, quote, get lucky? What can I do to put myself in a position to catch a break? That's what the 88 did. Very nice.
All right, 19 laps to go. Quapple going to try to do it again. This time he's got the guy who's led the most laps in the race underneath him, Cole Custer, trying to go for his first win of the season. Who's going to get the lobster? Green flag back in the air at New Hampshire. Bell pushes the back of the 88 on the restart. No wheel spin by the outside row one driver that time. Austin Hill nearly 3 wide up the middle as Sammy Smith bogging down the car in front of him. Sammy Smith now gets hit. Around goes the 19. Collected a few other cars. Several are spinning off the exit of turn number 2. Too many to count. Sam Mayer, Kyle Weatherman go around. I saw Austin Hill with a big slide and a lot of damage on the left front of Hill's race car.
Some damage on the Austin Hill machine as well. It's really simple for NASCAR. This decision just goes back to the loops. What happens is when the caution comes out, it basically fields the freeze to the let me try this again. Freezes the field to the previous loop. It's electronically done. As we see Bonds Jr. still sitting there. So NASCAR will just go to the lineup that the computer says. This isn't a camera situation. That's only to determine the finish of the race.
This result for Bonsignor is not going to be indicative of how good of a job he did. Ignore the finish. Great work by him today.
Tried to block there. Went down in front of Sammy Smith. Maybe got a little help there, sure enough, from Sammy to go around, and Sam Mayer was right there as well.
Well, I'm not so sure that Mayer didn't get into him. Watch this. Watch the one car. I don't know. They're just all bottled up there together. One car came in later. Dave was already into the back of the 19. Restarts. Here you go. Here's this battle. Great shot.
So you see right there, the 00 is pretty clear. The 88, the NASCAR saying the 00 was the leader. So there's obviously a loop line somewhere off turn 2 there that will score him the leader on board with Parker Kligerman.
All right, so this yellow lights blinking there.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like, right? So there's a loop basically here in the middle of the corner and one here on exit. So it really goes back to, I really think in the middle of the corner, the 88 had already been passed by the 00. Maybe even on exit, right? So you got the 00 leading, it's under green, and then at some point the yellow comes out. Like I said, it's automatic. It's not even really a human judgment. The computer says, hey, the 00 passed the 88 and crossed loop X, and then the yellow came out, so it scores it that way.
And that means another restart.
I've argued it for years, Rick, but that electronics, man, that doesn't lie.
So now Cole Custer will continue to add to his laps led as they roll under caution here before they determine the restart order.
So now, if you're Cole Custer, it's almost guaranteed he's going to pick the outside. That's been the move that's mostly worked. But what does Quaffle do in that 88? Does he restart on the bottom, or does he restart on the top and try to come out of turn 2 running second, and then try to take the fight to Custer. That's hard to do. It's hard to give up the front row. And I would want him to start on the inside, but you could make a real strategy of, hey, let's start on the outside. Let's get a great start. Let's leave with Custer and then try to go racing.
I could argue the other. I would say what you said. Start second on the outside, and let's just see what happens between Bell and Custer, because maybe they both don't exit turn two. Maybe this are our chance
Back, but that's Bonsignor around, and the caution comes out again.
Yeah, I think the biggest damage in that incident was Austin Hill. He's back at 25th now. And Chandler Smith, who brought out the caution before that first spin, is just a few positions ahead of him in 23rd. Some of the other drivers involved in that incident, obviously Bonsignor. As we mentioned, he is now 27th. All these cars still on the lead lap. Stage number 2. Stage 3, excuse me, stage 3. So Cole Custer got to the lead before the caution came out that time. Carson Quapple is the second place driver. Christopher Bell third, Jesse Love fourth, and Sheldon Creed fifth. That is going to be the top 5 for this next restart. 15 laps to go as of right now, as we're still pacing under caution. By the time we get back to racing, you're listening live on KRC to the NASCAR Xfinity Series SciAps 200. We are up to 50 likes on the stream. Again, 50 likes on the stream. So be sure to hit that like button if you have not done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content as well. We have live race commentary, cup practice, and qualifying every weekend as well. We had no qualifying. It was washed out for both the Xfinity and Cup Series this weekend. And practice washed out entirely for the Xfinity Series. We did go live for Cup practice for about maybe 20 minutes, and that was about all we had of the stream, even less than that of on-track activity with the rain. Really only got about 5 to 7 laps in for most of those drivers over the course of that very, very minimal practice. Have to get heat in the tires, run a couple laps, semi-leisure pace, and we ended up having practice come to an end early. Carson Hocevar was fastest in practice overall. Not that that really matters much there. Again, doesn't really indicate how well I think a driver is going to necessarily run throughout the course of tomorrow's race. Good for him anyway, at least firing off quicker than everybody else, as they're all playing with the same cards. As far as the race tomorrow goes, Chase Elliott will be on the pole. Ryan Blaney will be starting second. That'll be the front row for tomorrow's race. Still going to work on the 21 of Hill.
Somewhere, especially in the left front. So it's going to be the focus right now for the 21. But you go back, last week they lost 29 points at Iowa. They had tire issues all Saturday at Iowa. And then today, being in this late wreck, they're going to lose 30-plus points today. And that could be, Steve, almost 60 points this team would lose in back-to-back weeks, which would just be incredible. It was like just a few weeks ago, Austin Hill was leading the regular season championship as of right now.
They've had good cars. I can't blame it on speed. It just hasn't really gone their way. All right, Jeff, some debate on the choose. Here you go. Quapple takes the front row.
Yeah, I think that was the right call. It's worth discussing, but I just don't think you could give up that front row. And remember, in this regular season point championship, they're also racing Chandler Smith, who you just saw in that spin earlier. So he's all the way down to 22nd as well. So both of the guys, first and second in regular season points, are having a bad day.
Second and third, Custer was leading.
To make it 4 wins in a row if he can get by these two.
The disadvantage Christopher has is that he's a nice guy, and he's racing. He's racing Custer, who's racing 4 points, and so Quaffle's trying to earn his way. He gets a little bit of a slide. But now, you can't really go move a guy that you're racing that's racing for points. You got to be a little bit respectful.
Yeah, an all-guy, third car on the inside, he's had a completely up and down day, and here he is kind of back in position to make something of it.
Jesse Love on those old tires still hanging around at 6.
Sheldon Creed up there in 5th.
Green flag back in the air. Big darty move by the 26 of Corey Heim. tail end of the field, or at least of lead lap cars. 3 wide and sandwiched in the middle is Quapple banging off of cars on the exit of turn 2. Christopher Bell gets by him on the high side. Sheldon Creed going to get by on the low side. Jesse Love up in that outer lane right now, backing up some of the cars into turns 3 and 4. 3 wide middle and a couple junk cars further back in the field. Another caution. Haley Deegan, and I can't tell who that other car is. It looks like Nathan Bird in the 92. The back of that 92 car is absolutely destroyed. Not a lot of damage on Deegan.
Was running in the 35th position, 3 laps down. Any more safety through to him. So take a look at what happened.
Looks 3 wide. This is going to be a. Oh.
Oh no! My phone just died. Give me a second, get it back on the charger. Oh no! Should have our broadcast back up and running here in a couple of minutes. Sorry for that. But waiting laps under caution should be a fairly lengthy cleanup out in turns 1 and 2, I believe, is where that incident took place. Nathan Bird had a lot of damage and debris from the back of his race car, pretty much spread apart in the center of the corner. So the 2 fastest drivers on the field on all these late race restarts, even with a couple of slower cars in front of them a couple restarts ago, have made their way back to first and second. Those drivers are Cole Custer and Christopher Bell. 10 laps to go under the yellow at this point. And a lot of cautions, restart after restart within the first few laps. All the drivers listed on the lap 181, 9th caution of the race, the one before that where we had a bigger incident off turn 2. The drivers involved there were Sam Mayer, Sammy Smith, Brandon Jones, AJ Allmendinger, Alex Bowman, Justin Bonsignor, Austin Hill, Kyle Weatherman, Shane Van Gisbergen, Jesse Love, and Brendan Poole. That incident. Now, not all of them had severe damage. They were just maybe part of contact that either caused the incident or when drivers were kind of stopped in a way of trying to miss other cars, they had been considered involved in the incident as well. So that list may be a little longer than those that actually suffered any sort of damage that's going to slow them down on the speed side of things. 11 cars in total were technically involved by NASCAR's discretion. Cole Custer's now led over half the laps that were scheduled for the race today. 105 laps led for Custer. He's led 5 different times. Again, 200 laps scheduled distance for the race. The only driver to lead more than twice. The only other driver to lead more than once, Carson Quapple. These late restarts plus the first time he led was during the green flag pit sequencing in stage 3. Believe it or not, though, before all these yellows, we had the longest green flag run of the race to start this final stage. Went over 60 laps under green. We have now had 4. So 4 yellows in the span of 21 laps. Again, that has now given us 10 cautions total in the race. 29 cars are on the lead lap now. Parker Retzlaff had gotten the free pass in 29th place to get his lap back as a result of that caution. So again, top 2 on the restart, Cole Custer, Christopher Bell. Can be interesting if Bell takes the front row, if he's going to take outside of row 2. I'd imagine he'll take the front row, but you never know. Sheldon Creed, Justin Allgaier should be around row 2 on the restart. Carson Quapple, Parker Kligerman up there in the top 10 as well behind them. Ryan Singh, Jesse Love then, followed by that. Sammy Smith, Riley Herbst. AJ Allmendinger, Alex Bowman, Brandon Jones, Corey Heim. All the top 14 or so should be in those top 7 rows, give or take. depending on where they exactly choose with the choose rule or the restart zone coming into play here. If I sound a little stuffy, I apologize for that. My allergies have been terrible all day today. Part of the reason I played a little bit more of the actual race audio on USA Network compared to what I usually would. My phone is turning right back on right now, so it should get back up and running before the restart. Sid for Brains, Jeff Curry, thanks for tuning in. Also, be sure to hit the like button on the stream if you haven't done so yet. 59 likes is where we're at right now on the stream. So again, 59 likes is where we're at right now. Well more than that many people watching. Helps these streams out a ton. Not going to have many laps to go in this race. And if we get another caution off this next restart, this should end up pushing us into overtime after that point. And 4 cautions in a 21-lap stretch all in the late going to the race. Somebody in the chat mentioned that they had dozed off and missed a portion of this race. What happened to the Toyotas? Well, he still got second and third up there. Custer has dominated the day. He's led over 100 laps. So they're still there. Chandler Smith went for a spin on one of these late race restarts. Same for Justin Bonsignor, which is why they're both 20th or worse. And Corey Heim on green flag pit stops. He had a very bad pit stop where the air hose had gotten trapped underneath the splitter of the car. Had to try to get it out from underneath before he could leave his pit box. That dropped him off the lead lap when a caution came out in the middle of that green flag run. Got his lap back with the wave around. And now he's at where he's at. Just getting my phone on right now. Guy's off. Speaking of which, it does look like the green flag is back in action again. Cole Custer and Christopher Bell going at it for the race lead.
Head on the outside.
Lead still door to door every lap from the restart. Is Custer and Bell. Bell on the inside, Custer on the outside. Caution out again at the tail end of the field. More contact around Haley Deegan. It'll be her and Mason Massey at the tail end of the lead lap now, bringing out the yellow. So the caution flag is out again. 07, Patrick Emerly might have been involved as well.
There you have it. Ryan Ellis.
And that door foam sits in between the door skin and the roll cage. It's just an absorbing energy. You hit the wall, you make contact, that foam
Definitely going to
just takes some of
overtime
the
now.
G-forces out of the impact.
Take a look at what happens. Oh, the 15, just off the racetrack into the door. I think that was the 15.
Yep.
No, there's the 15 coming by there. So it wasn't the 15. Somebody else got into it.
What a battle between the 20 and the 00. It looked like Bell had fallen back, but then
Right there, the 00, his car just did not turn. He drove the car in the corner, had to wait forever to go back to the throttle. But now his tires have heated him. Now they're starting to stick better, and that's why Christopher Bell wasn't able to clear him.
great battle. Another restart coming up. They're still cleaning up in turn 2 right now. There's a little contact we saw between the 8 and 48. Sammy Smith, Parker Kligerman, right there. And as you see the Truck still out cleaning up. That means overtime. This will be the 8th overtime race this year. The leader at the scheduled distance has only won 2 of the 7 of those previous overtime races.
And Custer's the leader. Lap
Same strategy,
200,
guys.
or will be.
I think so. I think
Custer outside, Bell inside.
Yeah, and what Custer's nervous about is what does he need to do different to prevent that from happening again? Where gets in the corner, the car does not turn, does not stick. That's Custer's concern. The only thing he can do in my eyes is he's got to make sure he has those tires clean in them as he can get, Marty.
Let's chat with Tyler Allen, first-year crew chief here. And so what advice can you give a Cup Series driver on how he can maybe do that restart a little bit better?
He's pretty good around this place, so I think he knows what he's doing. Just got to get through a few more corners. Same game plan. He knows what he's doing.
Days going on?
I don't know if it's fallen off. Some of the guys have gotten a little better.
Right, Tyler hoping to lead Christopher Bell to staying undefeated here.
Those 3 wins. It started back in 2018.
Christopher Bell is an exceptionally talented race car driver. Come up through the Toyota program. Been with Toyota for forever. And this is part of the reason. All the success here. But the development work to get to this point is what's made him so good. On top of just the natural talent that he has.
First 4 starts, won by A.J. Allmendinger at the Charlotte Roval. Other drivers that have won their first 3, Joey Logano, Mark Truex Jr., and of course Christopher Bell here.
Well, the other thing I noticed there is Christopher Bell, 29 years old. I don't think he ages because he looks just like he did back in 2018. It was 6 years ago. The guy looks exactly the same.
I watched him when he was late model racing. When he first started getting adjusted to asphalt, Toyota had him working, in late models and, racing around North Carolina, Virginia. And as soon as they put him in one of those cars, he immediately was competitive. And yes, he looked the same then as he does now.
Yeah.
He probably can't say the same for us.
Maybe driving for him is the fountain of youth. Getting ready for the choose again.
How about, Custer Bell, Creed we covered, Allgaier, Quabble hanging in there. We have Kligerman up there on those 2 tires. How about Ryan C., 7th, at 39 car, once again, just running really well. Herbst, Alex Bowman, it's been an up and down day, all the way back to 9th, even though we had that penalty from the green flag cycle. We have Heim in 10th.
You can see all the cars. The drivers are just swerving the cars around on the racetrack. And what you want to do is you want to make sure you're doing that in a clean lane. You don't want to be swerving your tires in a dirty lane and just picking up all that debris. But you've got to get them cleaned up. You see them spinning the rear tires, leaving black marks. Just trying to clean them up, get heat in them.
Remember Sheldon Creed in the 18, still looking for his first ever Xfinity Series win. He'll be following Cole Custer into turn 1 on that outside line.
So Christopher Bell has to believe that Custer's weakness is entering turn 1. Normal lap, right? So you actually drive the car deep on a normal lap. What's that limit, though? And that's why the entrance speed is hard to gauge. But we just saw Custer did not hold the bottom. He could not do it. If you're Bell, you have to be assuming that's going to happen again. You've got to nail this launch. If you can enter door to door with him, you got a shot.
Again, Cole Custer.
All right, here we go. Overtime. Going to complete lap 201 at the line this time by. Green flag going to be back in the air. Custer on the outside of row 1. Bell on the inside. They were door to door for a lap and a half on the last restart. It probably won't be the case this time as Bell spins the tires on the inside of row 1. Custer fully in the lead into turns 1 and 2. Bell slides up the racetrack, but his teammate Sheldon Creed going for second. Sheldon Creed going to finish second again, or is he going to have a shot to go for the win? Trying to close back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. If he can get to the bumper of the 00, you can bet Creed's going to try to use it to go for that first career win. He gets a great drive in the middle of the corner. He does get into the back of the 00. 3 wide for the lead on the front stretch now. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. I believe Creed led that lap of the line. Custer now falls back behind the 2 Toyotas in front of him who are door-to-door for the lead. Creed gets hit by Custer, and Christopher Bell's clear off turn 2. Bell, who hasn't led since the end of stage 2, is running away with it through 3 and 4 as Custer and Creed continue to battle for second. Neither one of them are going to win. It's going to be the veteran and the Cup regular Christopher Bell stealing a win today at New Hampshire as he goes 4 for 4 in the Xfinity Series at Loudon. 4 wide across the line in the back half of the top 10 for positions right around Bowman, Heim in 9th and 10th. Kligerman and Herbst, I believe, were in that battle as well, just in front of him in the finishing order. Christopher Bell wins with a last lap pass on an overtime restart as we went 3 laps past the scheduled distance. 82.80 mile per hour average race speed. Well, the pick ended up winning in the end, although it was not an easy one and got a little help with the late getting well over 100 laps today out of 200 originally scheduled. He will not be the winner. Margin of victory, 0.2 of a second over Sheldon Creed in second. Yet again. Creed got in the back of the 0-0 off turn 4 as they were coming to get the white flag that allowed Bell to go 3 wide underneath both of them as they made contact again down into turns 1 and 2 as Custer got to the left rear corner panel of Creed again. Bell was able to clear and go on and win the race. Bell is 4 for 4 in the Xfinity Series now at New Hampshire. Unbelievable. And we'll try to go for the sweep tomorrow. I'm just going to tell you right now, he's my pick to win tomorrow's race too, just like he was today. Once we get the interview for Christopher Bell on the front stretch, we'll go through the rest of the finishing order behind him. 29 cars finished on the lead lap. 2 hours, 35 minutes, 19 seconds total time in this race. Again, 3 laps past the scheduled distance, 203 completed out of an originally scheduled 200. Christopher Bell leads 43 laps en route to his win. This was only the second time he led. He also won Stage 2. Sam Mayer won Stage 1, led 9 laps. And again, Cole Custer leads the most laps today. 114 laps led for Custer. 24 laps led. 2 different times Carson Quapple was able to lead. He led the 3rd most laps today. We had 10 different drivers lead at least 1 lap in the race, and we had 16 lead changes amongst those 10 different leaders. 11 cautions total in this race, 5 of which in the final stage. The only Stage 2 caution was the Stage 2 brake at 4 yellows in Stage 1, with the Stage 1 brake included in that. So again, we'll go through the finishing results as soon as we get the front stretch interview from Christopher Bell, who wins in a wild finish at New Hampshire.
Christopher Bell. Morgan's been there. Talking to me racing years ago. She was there then. She's been along with him on this journey.
Take a few pictures with the checkered flag. And Kim, you're down there with him.
I am running around here like crazy, getting a fist bump from one of his crew members. Christopher Bell, man, what a day for this team. He keeps his perfect record in the NASCAR Xfinity Series at New Hampshire. But it was hard fought. It was a challenge out there today. That last restart.
Bad for Sheldon. He's been really close to winning these things, and today he did everything right to win that race. He restarted in the right lane, gave Cole a good push, and then coming to the white flag, he got Cole loose, and that's what opened the door for me. So, yeah, I don't know. This Mobile 1 Camry was really good early in the race, and then once I lost the track position, I was just kind of another guy. So, very fortunate to keep my undefeated streak alive. We got really lucky there.
You have so much talent at this racetrack, but you are the 4th different driver to win in the 20 car this season. What kind of statement does that say about the team that was behind you today?
Yeah, I mean it's just really cool. You know, Tyler Allen is the crew chief on this thing, and he was my Cup engineer for ever since I got into the 20 cars. So I was really looking forward to racing for Tyler, and he's got 3 stickers on here. We're gonna add a 4th today, so he's doing a really good job, and everyone on this 20 car is doing awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And the weekend is not over for Christopher Bell. He will run the Cup race tomorrow. Look.
So Bell does get the win here in today's race. We'll go through the rest of that finishing order behind him. Again, a 2/10 of a second margin of victory in a 3-lap overtime. 3 laps past the scheduled distance. That's what I meant by 3-lap overtime. Obviously, the restart itself was only 2 laps, but it does finish under green. Christopher Bell gets the win. Sheldon Creed second, a 1-2 finish for GGR. And then again, Bell, the 4th different driver to win in the 20 car in the Xfinity Series this season. The others were Eric Almirola, Ryan Truex, and John Henry Nemechek. Behind Creed, you had Cole Custer finishing 3rd, who led the most laps. He finished here as he ends up 4th in another top 5 for Carson Kvapil. Held on strong on those late restarts, finishes 5th, his 3rd top 5, and just his 4th Xfinity start of the season. His first 4 of his Xfinity Series career, all in the 88 for JRM. Ryan Sieg finishes 6th, Parker Kligerman 7th, Riley Herbst 8th, Alex Bowman snuck in with the top 10 tonight, and Corey Heim finishes in 10th. AJ Allmendinger 11th, Sammy Smith 12th, Jesse Love 13th, Brandon Jones 14th, 15th for Chandler Smith, Brendan Prado, Jeremy Clements 22nd, Justin Bonsignor 23rd, Josh Williams 24th, Austin Hill 25th, Kyle Weatherman 26th, Parker Retzlaff 27th, 28th for Blaine Perkins, Ring 29th, Garrett Smithley 30th. 31st for Mason Massey, Kyle Sieg 32nd, Haley Deegan 33rd. A 34th place finish for Armani Williams. 35th was Patrick Emerly, Ryan Ellis 36th, Nathan Bird 37th, and Leland Honeyman 38th. Here's Cole Custer, who finished 3rd with Marty Snyder.
Just enough to open the window?
I mean, I would have the same thing. You know, I mean, you're racing for the win. You know, it is what it is. It's just, man, it just stinks. You know, I felt like we've had the best car all day. I mean, that's not easy to do at these flat short tracks. I mean, our guys brought such a fast car. But man, I mean, as you get putting those late race restarts, I mean, 6 times or whatever, eventually it's probably not going to go your way. But I'm going to relive that definitely. And then, yeah, obviously the 20 got a good run, and we shifted down in there into 1. I felt like I was going to stay outside.
Series win predictions in 6. As far as this goes, congrats to Christopher Bell. He gets a lobster. He'll try to get another one tomorrow. Where does he keep these things? There's no way he keeps every single lobster. I don't even know if they keep them. I think they just hold them. They might not even keep them. Regardless of the fact if he keeps them, he's got a ton of lobsters. He's got 4 for the Xfinity Series. He's got a truck and a cup. He's got 6 lobsters. Insane. Here's Justin Allgaier with Marty Snyder before we leave.
I think so. Really good race car. I think that's the most disappointing part. Just really proud of the effort on this American Professional Agriculture Chevy Camaro. Jim Pullman and the guys. I mean, we knew we were going to start with a good car this weekend. We were really good here last year. And it just kind of